This is a Stand Up New York Labs production, providing you podcasts since 2013.
It's what we do, baby!
This is Race Wars.
Race Wars.
I have the power!
Yeah! How's it feel?
With Kurt Metzger.
You're out of your fucking mind, dude.
And Sherrod Small.
Settle down, bitch!
Race Wars.
Yes! Sweet Jesus, yes. We back in the building. Race Wars. Oh my God, it's a packed fucking house. Everybody's here. And their mother. The equipment is barely working. Kurt's on. Kurt, say hi.
I can't see. You have to tell me.
Yeah, okay, everybody's here. Just say hello.
Hello. Who's there?
Can you hear
Tell me
him?
the names.
You can't hear him at all?
I can hear him.
Okay, yeah, you're just shaking his head.
You can
now.
turn your headphones
I can
off.
hear you, Milo. And
No, I
else.
can
Well,
hear him. He just hasn't said anything interesting.
He's there he he's already
There
shooting. He's
she
already shooting.
is.
Shots fired.
Oh my
That's
goodness.
our
He's already
girl.
shooting at you. Milo's in the house.
No,
Milo,
I'm
say
not.
hello.
No,
Say
I'm
hello.
not. No, I'm
Words of
not.
violence, but I have no idea.
Excuse me. This is Race Wars. I'm presumably on his side.
You presume wrong,
I
sir.
have no idea because we didn't do a roster before we came on air. But no, I love him.
Now, when
I
you
just-
say do a roster,
I
you mean a
didn't know-
Jamaican?
No,
I'm just trying to keep it with the gay lingo.
We're having a good time.
They're doing rosters now. I don't know.
They don't like our people very much.
Okay,
All that
wow.
Chi-Chi Man stuff.
Oh,
and
the
all
boom,
of
bye,
the-
bye.
Batty boy.
The Batty boy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Batty boy.
No.
They said boom, bye, bye in
I
the
like,
Batty Boy's
I like
head.
proper black Americans. Jamaicans are just Brits with an attitude problem.
Okay.
I like proper black Americans.
Well, Kurt, he's here. Milo's here. You happy now? I got
Can
you something
tell
for your
Milo
birthday.
something? I agree with his Jamaican assessment because I was thinking that was exactly what I found.
no, look, I'm English. We invented Jamaica. I mean, like it's
Oh!
everybody there.
Oh, Shabba Ranks just threw up somewhere. On the
But
trail of load of
it's
girls.
English Jamaicans. It's not like I've never been to Jamaica, but second generation English Jamaicans, their taste in comedy is fucking atrocious.
Oh, yeah.
That's true.
Also,
And you know the worst
that
thing is
Body
they're
Boy
always
song-
the wokest, and they always come over here. And I got to tell you, so my husband is doing like as a PhD in social work.
Stop bragging about your
and they
First of all,
come
who would marry you?
What?
Who married
A
you?
fine ass black man.
She's seen. Oh, thank you, John.
Is he black?
She's seen
He
him.
black.
She's seen him.
He
He
looks
is-
like our
Has
cousin.
anyone seen you with
He
him in
is-
person, not in a picture?
Yes, all of the people at my wedding.
Okay, but has
pumpkin.
anybody in the public ever seen you with this husband of yours in person?
How black is he? You told
Other than a
like,
person.
everybody I know,
Other than a picture.
other
He
than
passed
of
a paper
course the
bag
people,
test.
other than the people I don't know, who would of course immediately.
But
post
nobody
his
has
picture up.
ever caught you out in public on camera.
Are you
You
trying
don't go
to?
with your black husband?
No, I'm asking you a question.
Wait a minute.
I'm asking you a
No.
question.
The,
You don't go to the
clear,
Apollo?
Excuse me.
Why?
The clear implication of his
You don't go to
question.
Magic Johnson Theaters.
The clear implication.
You can imply whatever you want, but you could
the
also
clear
answer the
implication
question.
of his
Okay, Tommy,
question.
so-
Try to
Okay.
answer. Nobody,
Is
let
that-
him talk.
Go ahead.
Look at this queenie
got
little
you.
thing.
I got you.
The clear implication of the question is that my marriage is fake. That the man that I've dedicated my life to, that I love and revere and honor and,
Right.
and obey under the correct circumstances,
Hey.
the person, she knows, the person that I love has been confected for the media. Fuck you.
Okay,
so wait.
enough with the faux indignation. Enough with the faux
Fuck
indignation.
you. Okay.
Enough with the faux indignation.
Faux
Let's just
indignation.
answer the
No.
question.
Excuse
And
me.
the charm
I am
goes
not
right out
fake-
the building.
No. I am not fake insulted by it. I am insulted by it.
Okay, but why won't you answer it? I don't care if you're insulted.
How about erasing
It's
people
race
of
war.
color?
Let
How
me-
is that?
let me
How
just
is
hear-
that? You want to erase people of color? How about you imagine my
I would
husband doesn't
love
exist?
to.
Go
If
fuck
they don't
yourself.
exist.
Let me just get to the
From the
point here.
narrative.
This is what Sherrod wanted.
Pathetic. This
Everybody-
guy wanted to say, "Oh, it's so nice to meet
I
a
just wanna
Nazi
know
in
one
person."
thing.
You
Is there-
stupid.
I did say that.
You stupid camp little
That's true. I
prick.
did say it's nice to
Listen
meet
to
a
me.
Nazi.
You are everything I hate about gay people. You are what you are
It's
why
a gay
Turn
off already.
you are why
Turn up.
I spent my 20s.
Is this gay wars or
You
race
are-
wars?
Well, I wish it was gay wars. You are the reason
I knew
that I
you
spent
girls
my
would
I
love
got to
each
that.
other.
You are the reason I spent my 20s like twisted up about who I was because gay charities were saying if you're gay, you have to believe this, you have to do this, you have to all the rest of
Okay.
it, just the same as Black Americans have experienced, by the way. But
I agree with that.
But gays are told, oh, you're gonna be this, or you're self-loathing, or there's something wrong with
If
you.
you don't-
And
if
it
you
is
don't
the
check all the boxes.
gay lobbies and gay charities and hissy, queeny, disgusting little things like this are the kinds of people who made me feel like shit throughout my entire 20s.
So my question to that.
And you add insult to injury by claiming that my husband doesn't exist? Go fuck yourself.
They do the same thing to Jews.
Can I introduce everyone on the fucking show first? Jesus. Milo, thank you for being here. Noam, hello, Noam.
Hello, Sherrod. Hello.
I know you ain't get to say shit yet, Noam. Noam Dworman, he's the owner of the Comedy Cellar. He's here.
Comedy Cellar Las Vegas. Comedy Cellar Las Vegas.
That's right. Get your tickets
Just
now.
that one.
Get your tickets now. Sherrod will be out there soon.
Yeah.
Wow, that was a cold breeze.
You don't have
to take that.
It's important to start strong.
Anytime you want to come, Kurt.
Yes.
Can I do open mic? Can I come to open mic there?
Absolutely.
I would love that.
Oh, hell
Now
no.
listen, let's focus.
Wait a minute.
Joyelle,
Wait a minute.
introduce yourself.
Hey, I'm Joyelle, and I just want to say Faux Indignation is my new drag queen name.
Joyelle Johnson.
Faux Indignation is in the house, y'all.
Joyelle Johnson, very funny comedian. Vonnie.
Hi, y'all. Vaughn DeCarlo is here. CoachVaughn.com.
Vaughn already, I can feel the heat coming off
cute.
of
I'm
Vaughn.
just saying,
No,
I
she
got
cute.
a few questions. I just got a few questions.
I know you're woke as fuck and you ready to go in, okay? Go.
I like both that and the plug. That was
Go
good.
ahead, Tommy.
URL, and that was fun.
I'm Tommy at Tommy O'Mally at Tommy O'Faggy on Instagram.
I like how it took everything for you to break eye contact with Milo, just even finish what you were saying. You queens with your
username has faggy in it. Color me shocked.
I know Dangerous Faggot was already taken.
Oh my god!
Is that Milo's
the
Instagram?
only remaining gay man in America who doesn't realize that was intended to mock people like you.
This is like a gay Rocky movie.
Girl.
Right? And you thought he was going to fight me.
Yes, Kurt, what you have to say?
Already.
You got to focus for Kurt.
I'd rather it was a real
fighting
Rocky movie because we can go.
Kurt, what do you say?
What? I don't know why they're fighting because Tommy. Now I remember when Milo, that whole controversy about the teen gay boys, older men, or whatever the fuck. Tommy was like kind of, as I recall, speaking up for Milo that is indeed in the gay community how things work.
Oh, the
And
only
I
time
remember
he
it was a
stood
big
up for
debate on
me
the
was
show.
on some kind of like thing that I didn't actually say, but enabled him to stand up for pedophilia. That makes total sense.
No,
what happened? What was
the
it?
pedophilia thing?
Okay,
It
to
was
be
the
fair,
thing
we all
like,
love
they're
pedophilia.
misunderstanding you.
But wasn't that the plot to call me by your name?
Can I say?
You know I'm getting.
He asked a pretty.
And it wasn't any better then.
Milo. He asked a pretty interesting question. You're a famous guy. You're out and about town. How is it that nobody?
Well, not anymore. I can't go
How
out for
is it that
brunch.
nobody ever caught a picture? And I'm
That's
not
disastrous.
And I'm not insinuating you're not married. How did nobody ever get a picture?
Well, that would be a more
He
reasonable.
showed me a
That would be a
picture.
more reasonable and civilized way of asking the question.
Oh,
and
yeah.
indeed,
That's what I'm here for.
the guest to my left asked for a picture and got one. And there are plenty of pictures in the Daily Mail on page 6
Let
of
me
our
see a
wedding.
picture of him.
But just with him, obviously face the other way. Do you understand what would happen to somebody? You understand? There are plenty of pictures of
I
him,
get
but
it.
none showing his face and none showing more than
Tommy
his face.
Lauren
Spider-Man
posted
wear
her
masks.
black
You watch
man
Spider-Man wear
on
masks to
Instagram.
protect his loved ones.
Okay.
Tommy Lauren, is that her last name? Is that how you say her
Even-
name?
look,
She posted her black man on Instagram.
She has a black man?
Okay. Yes, but do
I don't
I don't know if she bought him or not, but she got one.
do you?
I don't know what I feel worse about.
I don't know. Yeah, that was horrible. But
Do you not like her?
funny, though.
Do you not like her?
Buying a black man. he didn't
No,
like.
I love her. I don't know about the buying the black man thing.
You know about buying a black man. It was a history in this fucking country.
Do you? No. Well, yes. Do you know what would happen to an African American male?
Is he African American
who
or
was-
is he from London or somewhere?
No, he grew up in Jersey.
Jersey black
Jersey.
dude.
I'm a Jersey black girl.
That's why we got
Is
on
this my
immediately.
cousin?
Yeah,
Oh my
It's
God.
Joyelle. I didn't know you were a man.
I know
You
this dude.
call
No,
me-
what
So
would
you're
happen-
saying
look,
what
I
would
shaved
happen
down my
next?
Adam's apple.
To his life. To his
I am,
life.
and I am Voldemort on college campuses. Okay, do you know?
And
what,
off.
Do you, and sometimes off. For instance, in New York, British pubs. But do you know what would happen to an African American male who was like revealed as my husband, who was doing a PhD at a big American university? What would like how his professors would treat him? What his what his career prospects would be after that? I would never in a million years subject him to that kind of abuse and
Outside the bedroom.
whatever.
How has nobody found him, though?
I am the one who likes the abuse in the
I
bedroom.
get it. but I think
BuzzFeed
he-
is
He be choking you.
Wait, I want to.
and you know, and the
This is
the
racist.
But you didn't
kinds
answer
of
my question, though.
The kinds
question
of
is, how do you avoid it? I mean, you go to a restaurant, you go to everybody.
Well, we
got
just
a
They think
space.
he's your
Seamless.
security.
well, we
They
go
think
to
it's security.
very
He keeps them in the
very-
basement.
Uber Eats.
You can't side
Let him
her.
answer.
Baby,
You just now got eye contact with me over the past hour. Finally, I got your attention.
Baby,
Hello.
I'll mix you a drink.
This is what
And
Race Wars is
second of
known
all,
for.
first of
Hello.
all,
Nobody
first of
can get a
all,
word in edgewise.
first of all, I got you a
Everybody
drink,
focus.
and second of
No
all,
answer.
I'm the one in the basement. But yeah,
If BuzzFeed is
All right.
in his phone,
I
if
don't- I don't-
BuzzFeed's
I'm
in his
not in a
phone, how
disagreement
did
with
they
that.
not know who your
Okay,
husband
listen,
is?
calm down.
Because they would want to know.
They don't know. It's a lot of black dudes in Jersey.
I guess you don't
Lot
text
of
your
black
husband.
dudes in
You
my
ain't
phone.
lying.
You don't text your husband. You have pictures of your husband on the ready
I
on your
don't
phone
know.
here.
Are you still
Tommy,
trying
be
He
honest
just
now.
used.
Tommy,
Is he still
be
trying
honest.
to claim my husband
Hold
doesn't
on.
exist?
Do you believe he's married or not to a black
I
man?
do not believe
You don't
that.
believe
I
it.
do
He
not. I
showed
think it's
me.
PR.
He showed me.
I
Motherfuckers
think
walking
it's
down the
PR.
aisle.
Well, I have a
All right.
question. I have a
Okay,
question.
Rael.
Well, hold on. Can
All
you
right.
show us a
Hey,
picture?
no,
of
so
something?
Of course, as long as there's no cameras
Wait,
around.
is this
because I
a
don't want
real?
those guys
This
to-
is a private picture that's
He's
not
going
on
to
the
show us a
internet.
picture. And then you're
Everybody
going to
focus.
apologize if you were wrong.
Everybody focus.
Of course.
Everybody focus.
This picture's cute.
I'm gonna turn the mics
Sherrod,
off.
you have no power.
I'm turning the mics
I want to
off.
see
Can
him
you
in-
leave
I wanna see
mine
the
on? 'Cause
black guy
I'm
in a
not
wedding
talking.
dress.
Do you understand like how fucked up it is that I have to show a picture of my husband?
You don't have to.
No, it's a fair
Believe
question.
I just wanted to
who
see
I'm-
it 'cause
No,
I'm-
Wait,
I'm
whoa,
happy
whoa,
to do
whoa.
it because I want this piece of
Milo.
shit to be humiliated
Okay,
in the way he
calm down,
deserves to be.
okay.
But
Milo.
do you understand
Wait.
like how
Jokes on you, that
humiliating
makes
and
him calm.
ridiculous that is?
Let me get
Tell
it
us how
this
much
way.
you said you love Milo. Tell me why.
I
Milo
am
is
perfectly
afraid
happy
that
to
his- that
answer the question,
Yeah.
but I am also perfectly entitled to be pissed off when people deny the existence of the man I love.
No, let's get past that. I mean,
Okay.
even though you didn't show the picture, but let's get past that.
Excuse me.
Shall we?
Excuse me.
No,
Don't say.
I'm saying
Don't
for the-
say.
I'm saying-
No.
I'm saying it for the viewers.
Run that shit
I'm
the
saying-
fuck back
I'm
because
saying
you
it-
say that like I kind of did. Well, like I kind of backed out of
I
it, and
didn't mean it that
actually
way.
the
You-
conversation kind of went.
He
a
can
different
show
way.
the picture.
So
Show
you
me.
can. You
Hold
can.
on, hold on.
You
Sorry.
can pipe down and you can scroll through my whole fucking
Okay,
favorites folder. Keep it away from
it-
this piece of shit.
No, he's the one who wants to see
right?
it.
You can
I
scroll
want to ask
through
you
my
this.
whole
But
favorites
listen,
folder.
Milo,
that's a good
I'm on
looking-
your side. I want to ask you a question.
Oh, that's a good looking
You're on
one.
his side?
Yes,
What-
he is. He's beautiful.
What views do you have
Yes.
that would be held against your husband in politically correct?
Oh, I mean,
situations?
being a
That's a fair question. Thank you. English, we share a
very-
language on this fucking thing.
a good question, which your friend was incapable of. Being a Trump supporter alone is probably enough.
True.
Right?
Very
now,
true.
I'm not saying if my husband voted that way or not, because that's his business. It's none of anybody else's business, and eventually he's going to...
You know that nigga ain't vote for no Trump.
Eventually, I don't... Yeah, and you know what?
I don't know that.
give a shit.
He might
because
next time, but he
because
did
I
this time.
love him. I don't care.
Thank you.
Most things that we talk about, we agree on. Some things we talk about, we don't agree on. But I don't believe that people's career prospects should be torpedoed because of who they're married to. Because I think love is love, right? And I'm not prepared to risk him having his I mean, of all the careers you could choose, academia is like the worst one if you're going to be married to Milo Yiannoupoulos. Let's be honest,
Students
right?
gonna come for.
Okay.
I saw those kids went at you on that campus.
Right.
They was yelling things. Goddamn it, Milo.
And he is a current PhD student, and if it comes out who he is, he won't be able to find a supervisor for his thesis.
Trevor
But
Jenkins.
hold on,
He won't ever
supporting Trump-
graduate.
Supporting Trump is not a view.
What's it,
What
guys?
are the views that you have?
Well, I think it's a reasonable approximation of a view. It means that
No.
you don't believe in
Do
political...
you hate
it
black
means
people,
that-
Milo?
Does my husband, who may or may not have voted for Trump...
Do you hate
like-
black women?
No, of course not. Why would you think that? What have I ever said that
Thanks
suggests
for
that?
looking at me,
Excuse
Sherrod.
me. Yeah, I'm sorry.
I
Just
looked at my backup
okay.
singers and say something.
Okay.
I've been
Now
trying
listen,
to
what are your
say
most
something
so
the
let me-
whole
so
time.
let me-
I'm
let
gonna
me-
just be
you know
quiet
what?
The
until
Leslie
somebody
Jones
points at
thing
me.
was a big thing.
Yeah, and you know what happened with the Leslie Jones
Were you
thing?
with your
Which
husband at the
nobody
time?
knows and nobody realizes
us.
and
Let us
nobody
hear.
cares to find out
Let's tell
is
us.
that I wrote a review of Ghostbusters, which was a shitty movie,
It was good. I watched it a couple
defending her. I said it was a shame that Leslie Jones got pushed into this kind of like black and white minstrel show, like stereotypical angry black woman behavior in the movie. I thought she
Oh,
was.
she knew all the
I
history
thought
about the city.
I thought she was smarter than that. I thought she was
knew
more
all the
subtle
history.
and intelligent, a comedic actress than that. And the review, which is still online, you can go read it, which I wrote, defended her against what I felt was a two-dimensional role she was placed into.
Well, sometimes black people do that.
Now, in addition,
But it's not-
of
it's not
course,
never a small
I do
role,
the
though,
same
it's just
thing.
small
I
actors.
do the same thing with the rich Jew thing, whatever. But
it's never a small
but-
role,
but
small
in
small
addition-
actor. She brought a lot of things to that role. I thought.
I don't agree, but that's okay.
That's fair.
But what I also did was make fun of her looks on Twitter.
Where did the
So
Hammurabi
fucking
shit
what?
come from? No, that's the
Okay.
big thing. That's
Did
the
you
big
call
thing.
her an ape?
Stay on one
I
side.
didn't call her an ape.
Absolutely,
Going on Leslie.
absolutely,
No, this is Leslie.
100% no.
Okay.
That was one of your followers
Never
that
done
called her a
that.
monkey?
Did you defend her when it came up?
Okay, so I am not responsible for what. So I'm not responsible for what other people tweet, okay? Justin Bieber does not, like, apologize when Selena Gomez's fans send death and rape threats to his new girlfriend. Beyonce does not apologize when the Beehive goes nuts on whatever,
But
right?
you're not Justin Bieber and Beyonce, though, right?
No, excuse. Well, in excuse me. In the world of politics, which is much smaller than the world you guys live in the world of politics, yeah, I fucking am.
Jokes
and
Jokes
you know
on
what?
you. It is a small world
And
we
I
live in.
don't know.
I was about to say.
And the world
We
of
just know this room of
bigger
people.
and the world of politics that I live in, I
Right.
kind of am. And I'm not going to get
Bieber.
myself tied up and wrapped up and, well, probably more like Kanye, but whatever. Not going to get myself tied up.
That makes
and,
sense.
Yeah, I know, right? Not going to get myself tied up and wrapped up in disavowing what, I don't know, like 20 or 30 racist fucks said on the internet when the vast majority. What am I going to do?
But you listen. It's only. It don't take a lot to say. I'm not on that shit.
I
that they're
did.
on.
Okay,
and
that's
nobody
reported
That's what I'm
on.
asking.
On
I don't
CNN
know.
Money, they said, you know, do you like the stuff they tweet? I said, no, it's disgusting, but I'm not, and I hate it. And I, you know,
What?
But I'm not going to spend my time disavowing what other people say. I'm only responsible for what I say.
Yeah, but you can
That
also
is a
say with that
perfectly
awful shit
reason-
that people are saying.
Maybe
is
I would have got
fucking
around to if Twitter hadn't banned me first, right?
I'm not buying that, Milo.
Okay, go ahead, Mo.
I think there'd
Do
be
you
a
think
picture
that
somewhere by now. No, I think, I think that
Every journalist on the planet reported. Every journalist on the planet reported that I had said racist things to Leslie Jones. Not one reporter on the planet has ever been able to provide a shred of evidence.
No, you
because
didn't
it
say.
didn't
I looked
happen.
at that. You didn't.
It
Does that include Breitbart reporters? Every
you could-
reporter on the planet?
Hold on, Tommy. Let me say-
If your argument is about me not sufficiently disavowing other people, let's move on. I
Why?
don't give a shit.
Why move on?
Because I do not consider it my responsibility to
I
police
listen,
other
but
people's
if you
behavior.
can love a black man the way you do,
Yes.
when you think I'm gonna go to bat for everybody I love,
Which is why
if it's a Filipino,
which
if
is
it's a-
why I said on CNN Money, I thought that what they said was disgusting.
Now, let me tell you why I think you're wrong.
I said on
Milo.
CNN Money, which is the biggest interview I gave on the whole subject, I said what I think they posted was disgusting. But I didn't feel the need to like call people out
Milo.
saying, stop doing this.
I'm gonna
stop
tell
doing
you
this,
why you're
stop
wrong.
doing this.
Milo.
I'm sorry, I barely read my mentions. Like
Milo.
there's so many of them. I'm like, whatever.
You read them.
I'm going to tell you.
Some of them. Only the verified ones.
Milo, I'm going to tell you why you're wrong. I think that your Twitter feed, the threads that go on Twitter, is like a conversation in your house. And if
Okay, I have
everybody-
half a million followers before I'm banned. Am I required to respond to half a million people?
Hold on. You can respond to one aspect en masse. You don't have to respond to each individual tweet.
right.
You can.
Okay,
hold
so
on.
okay,
If
so-
you hold on, let me finish. If it was in my home and somebody found out I had 20 people in my home and people using
This
nigger
is
this,
a
nigger that,
ludicrous
and
comparison.
I just said I'm not responsible for everything. Let me talk.
I understand the point you're making, and it's stupid.
Yeah, you might understand it, but maybe people listening don't understand.
Well, then
they're
they're
not as
stupid.
smart as you. But no, they don't live
This
and
is
breathe
my
this.
audience. Of course, they're stupid. So give them time to explain.
And I'm saying that I would feel a responsibility since I'm the host of this whole thing to make it clear to everybody within earshot. Say, listen, I can't be responsible for what everybody
understand
said,
your point.
but I don't like this at all.
Fine.
And I would block the person who compared her an ape.
What I tweet on Twitter does not create liability for me to comment on everything that happens as a result of statements I make.
But
If any celebrity acted like that, they would never get anything else done.
So
okay?
can I ask
But
you
I don't
why
think you're
perpetuating? I don't get to talk ever.
I'll get around.
It's
I'll get around to everybody.
Second of
I'll get
all,
around.
I don't
I'm gonna
need
go
to be
boom,
here.
Second of all,
boom, boom.
Let him
That
finish.
is a ludicrous.
Got it.
By the way, that is a ludicrous standard that only conservatives are held to. You will never see a liberal held to that standard. Second,
It's not a
of all,
ludicrous standard.
Second,
It may be only conservatives.
ludicrous
Conservatives
standard.
may only be held to it, but that doesn't mean it's ludicrous. Maybe liberals should be held to it also.
No, it's a ludicrous standard either way, but it is also a ludicrous
No, I don't
standard.
think it's
Well,
ludicrous.
you know what? We can
Why-
disagree on
why
that,
is
but
it-
I'm happy
why
that we're
is it
disagreeing on the
ludicrous?
bias.
Why is it
Second of
ludicrous?
all, if I judge that.
You can't just put an adjective. You got to explain your reasoning.
You're saying
point.
in my household, right? If there's somebody saying a racist thing, if it was a house party of 30 people and 5 of them were being racist, I would make serious reconsiderations about my life choices and my group of friends. If, on the other hand, on Twitter, if I accept your argument that this is like some big dinner party, which I don't, because I think it's a publishing platform. I think you push things out on it, right? I don't think it's a start of a conversation where you're required to respond to everything.
Not to everything.
Yeah. I take your view that it is some kind of giant online dinner party. If my judgment is that 30 idiots, 30 horrible racist fucks, right? Idiots, versus the other 475,000 people that follow me are grabbing the attention of journalists because journalists are desperate for racism stories. If the
They
other
grab onto it.
475,000 1,000 people are just laughing along and adding criticism and all the rest of it, no, I am absolutely not required to draw attention to the stupid acts of a couple of freaks.
Wouldn't it have been smart for your own sake to
No, because it sets a precedent. It sets a precedent that anybody with controversial views has to respond and has to justify the consequences of those views. And if that's the case, you are all out of jobs.
Okay, fine. I agree with that. You don't have to be accountable for what everybody is saying. I get that. Can I ask a very simple, direct question?
Of course.
Why do you think people think you're racist?
I know why people think I'm racist.
Is it what everyone else around you?
I know.
Because he keeps his husband.
I know.
He's in a basement somewhere.
It's because I was on the way here. The sheets just fell out.
I hate all of you.
I was shopping in Neiman Marcus.
Is
and
that
the
leopard
bedding
or
just fell out
cheetah?
onto Madison. No. I know very well why people think I'm racist because I'm one of the most misreported people in America.
So your hands are completely clean.
Clean it
it's
right now.
everyone
Here you
else.
are on
It's
Race
everyone
Wars.
else.
If you listen,
That's a victim narrative.
I
What are
don't
you
know
talking
you, so
about?
I'm
You're
asking.
a victim of it?
I don't know
Fine.
why we
I'm
got
not
off on the
around.
wrong
Okay.
foot. I don't think you
If
have
you're-
to show your
if you're-
husband. I
if
don't think
you're-
you're accountable. I'm asking
no, I mean,
you
maybe
as
it would,
someone that does not know you.
Maybe it would help if we all wore armbands, like Jewish, black husband. Like, give me a fucking break.
No, because
Listen,
can I respond to that really
you
quick?
know.
You just because you have a black husband does not free you to say and do anything about black people.
Well,
that does not give you a pass.
You know
just
what
'cause you're
frees you
married
to
to a
say
black
and do
man.
whatever you
I don't
want?
think he
is
said
the
anything
First
bad about
You
black
Amendment.
have
people.
freedom.
It's the First Amendment.
You have freedom, but I'm saying you can't
And you have to-
justify
and you have to-
saying racist thing about black
And I
people because you're
don't.
married to a
Wait,
black
and I
person.
don't.
wait, you
And if-
got to say what he
and if-
said if you think
and
he
if-
said something. What did he
I'm
say?
asking.
What I'm saying.
I don't know
She
what he
doesn't
said. I'm
know, and
asking.
she's
You didn't even
asking,
Google it before you
which
came
is
on the show?
reasonable-
Yeah,
which
I
is
did, and
reasonable.
I saw the thing
She-
about Leslie,
but he didn't say anything bad about
Okay.
Leslie.
Right, but I'm seeing
She's asking me.
Black Lives
wrong
Matter,
thing.
though.
I asked.
No, Black Lives Matter. What I have said very specifically about Black Lives Matter is I agree with their analysis of the problem.
How dare you,
I
motherfucker?
agree-
Oh, wait, what?
What?
Oh, you agree with it?
I
All right, shit.
agree with their analysis of the problem. I agree about what they say that is wrong in the black community. Some systemic racism in law enforcement. I agree with all the fact that black people are still suffering as a legacy of racism
that.
because this has not been reformed.
Okay.
I agree with what they say about Republicans. They miss the terrible things Democrats did, like Bill Clinton putting half the black dads in jail, which is the worst thing that ever happened to the black.
sure, I
Which was the
agree.
worst thing that
Oh,
ever
for half the
happened to
dads.
blacks since slavery.
it was
I
awful.
agree. I
But
agree
listen,
with
listen.
all of the stuff they say. I don't agree with their prescription. I don't agree with
Now,
their
do you get
proposed-
nervous? Just a personal question. Like when your husband drives home or driving somewhere, come meet you.
Yes.
If it's nighttime, do
Yes.
you get nervous when he drives?
He drives a gold $200,000 Tesla, so he's pretty good with the law enforcement.
That means
really,
the
'cause
cops
they-
will
because
fuck
Kanye
with
West
him.
lyric
No, but
says
they-
you
but it
still a
means
nigga
they-
in a coupe.
No, I mean,
Is he a rapper?
No, come on.
Everybody focus.
No.
PhD,
They,
right?
Listen, a nice car is even more
Dr.
reason.
Dre. Yeah.
Gold?
Excuse me.
Tesla?
Thank
He-
you,
Wanna focus?
Sherrod.
Let
No,
me
listen.
focus, everybody.
Focus.
He
Everybody
That's a great
focus.
point, Sherrod.
He a PhD, but we married, so
But listen to me.
you know what's mine is his.
Cops who pull
But-
you over don't know you're a PhD.
I like your black
They see a
accent.
good
Yes,
car. They see a
yes.
good car. They see a nice
Yes.
black dude in it.
I absolutely agree with you.
Do you get nervous?
Yes.
Why?
I've been in the car with him.
And what happened? Like,
Because
tell
I
me,
agree that there is.
let me get into your life a little. Just having a black husband, it's got to be some ways in blackness that you got pulled in it just from being with him.
Yeah, and I agree. And
So you get nervous at night because you know that
And you
he's
think
more
that-
likely to.
Wait, you think Milo? You think that's racism?
When he gets pulled over, I'm aware that because he is a black man, he may be treated a little differently.
a
Absolutely.
little differently?
Absolutely.
That's a lot of bullets in that difference.
Well, probably the life we live, the neighborhood we're in, the car he drives, only a
Right.
little differently. If we were not in such good economic circumstances, probably a hell of a lot differently,
Yeah.
right? Yes. I've never
I don't
said
get
anything.
you, Milo.
Do you ever
I've
throw a
never
joke?
said. I've never said anything otherwise.
I don't.
Okay,
Yeah,
and that's
except
what
that you
I
know.
hear.
And just,
Hold up.
and
But
just to
Milo,
take it a step
Does
further,
every
because I
cop
want
in your
because I
neighborhood
want
know your husband?
Well,
Because
they're all Hispanic, so they're all racist anyway. But
all
I
Hispanics
wanna-
are racist.
Let him get it out.
Go ahead, get it out. Get it out. Stop side-eyeing me.
You live in South Miami. You know what people down there are like. If you don't, then
All
you
of
don't.
them?
But
Okay.
what I'm saying, you get pulled over by a Hispanic cop in South Florida, and you're black, then you'll know. But what I'm saying is, I
don't say all to anything. But go ahead, please
I
answer
would
the question.
I would even go further, and I would say, as I've said multiple times in columns, I've said it in my college talks, I've said it on social media. I would say, I 100% am sympathetic to, and possibly even am like paid up to the argument for reparations. I want it spent on black schools in underprivileged neighborhoods rather than just like on welfare. But yeah, totally like understand that black people need to be given a leg up that they have not had since slavery. All of this stuff, I have said publicly, repeatedly, multiple media. I've said it in college talks. I've said it in documentaries. I've said it in my book. New York Times bestseller, 200,000 copies, but apparently the New York Times has never read it. Despite the
I
fact
only read Judy Bloom.
No, but it's like it's on their own.
So you're completely
the New York Times.
misunderstood.
It's like it's on their own list for 5 weeks, and apparently no one there has read it. Okay, I believe that.
It only takes $100 to do that, by the way. $100 a week.
Yeah, well, I didn't sell 100 books a week. Trust me. So I've said all of this stuff publicly, repeatedly, for years.
Okay.
I don't understand how that is compatible with allegations of racism or white supremacy. It's obviously ridiculous.
Well, you just said
I don't think it is, but it sounds like you're
Trump still to this day, right?
I'm to the right of him, by the way.
Yeah, but you know what? It is a perfectly you may disagree with it, and
I'm sure to the right of him.
and you're entitled to.
Listen,
but
being Trump over Hillary is not a big leap for nobody.
First of all,
but it is a reasonable position to hold that you are anti-immigration because you're worried about the effect on working-class black wages. It is a reasonable.
He says this as an immigrant, by the way.
Well, you're not working class, so I don't I don't know. I don't know anything about you, and I don't want to presume. But my extended family, like my husband's family, are.
I have working class people in my family.
Okay, so it is can we at least agree that it is a reasonable, defensible, logical position that you might be against mass uncontrolled immigration because you worry about the effects on black wages?
I disagree with that because those aren't the jobs that they're covered for.
That wasn't what I. No. You answered a different question.
No, I didn't.
You
asked if
is
it was
a
going to
reasonable
affect black
position? I
wages.
didn't. No, I didn't say. Do you agree with it? I said, is it a reasonable, defensible position, even if you disagree with it?
That it's going to affect black wages?
Yes.
No, I don't think that's a reasonable thing because they're
the
not
thing,
coming
though.
after the jobs
Here's
that
the
we're
thing.
going for.
Black wages are already
We just
fucking
broke up,
affected
y'all.
by immigration, and I'm gonna show you how.
That's okay. I mean,
I just
disagree.
I'm gonna get this
We
out.
just disagree there.
In the NBA, is more poor white NBA players coming over here from fucking Eastern Europe, taking more money than any Mexican.
From the black man.
I mean, just a one-player
affirmative action.
Polish guys.
From more neighborhood food.
You
rice.
absolutely need a translator in the NBA these days.
Yes, all
absolutely.
of them from poor white.
They have to have
Tommy, you
a
want to go
translator on the coaching staff.
I mean, whatever. They breed oak trees over there. I spent time in Poland. They're all like giants.
Yeah, big boys, and they poor, and they work for cheap.
Big, beautiful men that held
And
the
they
Nazis
rebound.
at bay
They rebound.
until they couldn't.
But we have to get over this idea that it's
What are
just
you gonna
black.
say? You had a point to
It's
make?
a lot of
I
working
just
class
think that
white people
Milo's
too.
whole way-
I'm
Milo.
sorry.
Milo.
The Poles held the Nazis at bay. Have you been to Poland recently?
I
My
have.
God.
Yeah, they did. It's called the Warsaw Uprising.
Well, they didn't hold them at bay. They got slaughtered.
Yeah, they did.
They got slaughtered.
1944.
What
Hold
happened?
on.
No, but
Yeah, and then Himmler
they
issued
did fight back,
a decree.
and they waited for the Russians to come in and help them, and the Russians stayed out. Stalin kept them out and didn't bring them in, and let them get slaughtered by the fucking
Exactly.
Nazis.
No,
But
But they did fight back. They did fight back. I give
If
you
you
that.
want to get into the weeds, he's playing on the modern definition of Poland, which is a hell of a lot bigger than Poland was then, and the area of Poland was then did not hold the Nazis back.
Come on, Noam, bring your Jew
So
out
what
now,
can
goddamn.
I
You
actually
hear what
just
he's
bring
talking
your
about.
Jew without being
No, bring your
interrupted?
Jew out, goddamn.
No.
Without being interrupted in 10 seconds, I'm just going to say that 1944, from August until the beginning of October,
Yeah.
people in Warsaw, the Polish resistance
They
army,
fought back hard.
did hold the old city
I agree.
until they couldn't anymore.
Because they waited
When
for
the
Stalin
city,
to never show
when
up.
the city was completely leveled, and what I
Right.
said initially before
agree.
Milo jumped in to make a point that completely ignored what I followed
Well,
up
yeah,
with,
fuck already.
they held the Nazis at bay
hell
until
no.
they couldn't. Is what
There
I
isn't
said.
enough money in
They
New York.
held the
Yes, it
Nazis
is.
at bay until
No,
they
there
couldn't.
isn't.
But to be fair, the Poles have no love for
there
the
is not.
Jews. They're not like lovers of Jews.
Oh my God.
But Milo, here's my
I've
question: Why?
Never happened upon a bigger bonus shrinker in my life. Are you kidding me?
You just go immediately to these like crazy ad hominems that are like funny and like inflammatory and like designed to get
I
me
wasn't
upset.
trying to be funny. You're just ugly.
Okay, fine, fair
That
enough.
was just me. Now that's just point. See, that's what you did to
See.
Leslie. That
What?
sounds like Leslie stuff.
No,
It sounds
But
like
this is my
Somebody
question.
clear up the Leslie
See
thing.
how
in the
you came
movie,
out?
I
What
defended
did
her
he
in the
say
movie,
about
and
Leslie?
then
Not you.
Sherrod, you took the
And
bait.
then-
No,
I
you
think
took the
I
bait.
think he
You
was
took the
innocent.
bait because what he's doing with
I
that comment
defended
is
her.
No, I
redirecting
looked it up.
to
I looked it
himself.
up. I
Okay.
looked it up. I got a lot of obviously
Did you read my
wrong
review?
information.
Did you read my
so
review?
I'm
No, 'cause
trying
you're a
to
terrible
get
Okay,
writer.
let's get the right
I'm
reference.
trying
there
to
we
get
go.
what
Okay.
You
exactly
are.
happened with Leslie because
Okay.
evidently I got
How
the
many books
wrong
you sold,
information.
He already said it. He already said
How
it.
many
I
books
looked
you
it up.
sold?
He already
Zero.
said it. He already said it. He said what he said, and he said
He
that
said
it
that
was
she was ugly.
misinterpreted. No, he didn't. But
Okay, well, what-
I assume,
No. I No, I did.
Yeah, he just
I
said
did.
He's just continuously putting everyone on the fucking defensive for no reason. It stops the fucking conversation.
The left doesn't like it when it's on the other foot, huh?
No, I do like it. But you won't fucking let anyone get a fucking word in because you come here like an immigrant and think that you have a right to have a say in how we run our country, and you pretend to have a black husband, and you pretend to have fucking feelings, and everything's a lie because everything you do in a conversation is designed to bring it back to your behavior.
He is gay.
You bring the conversation back to your behavior.
We can
That's
tell by
true.
the shirt.
But fine. But you don't actually answer a question.
There are plenty of heterosexual men.
Hey,
You see how everybody's ignoring and mocking you right now? Like, give it up.
No, but
the millennial
there
self,
are
it is.
plenty,
At what point?
there
At
are
what
plenty
point?
of
At
heterosexual
what point
men
you're
who
on the downfall?
wear
Your company,
Dolce
Milo Inc. is
and
gone.
Gabbana,
You
like
child
they're
guy
plenty
from
of
Iowa. Here's my question. We're getting you on the reason you're on here is because you're on the descent. It's not because you're at the top of your game. It's because you're on the way down. That's why you're here.
You know,
Wait a minute.
That's real. That's what everyone listening to this is thinking.
Okay, let's bring it here.
I'm saying what literally everyone is listening.
I wasn't thinking
Okay,
that.
so Milo, was it worth it?
Baby.
Was it worth it? Was it
I'm
worth
only
it?
here.
I'm gonna bank
the
3
shitty show
million
because
this year. I'm doing
Banking
fine.
that 3 Milo.
Because you know what?
Wait.
Whether I made 5 last year and I'll
raise
make
their hand
3 this
if you
year,
wanna talk.
I will bank $3 million this year.
Can I have some?
Decline is relative, and I will earn more this year than you in your entire life.
Okay, so let's
stop
talk to
the
me in
cheap
3
jabs
years.
and talk about
Talk to me in
substance,
3 years.
okay?
Let's talk about you in 3 years. You
I'm
never
happy.
answered the
I'm
question
happy.
of how you have avoided being caught with your
I am-
husband.
I
You
am
did
between
admit,
billionaires
you
at the
did
moment.
say,
We
you
did.
did say
No,
that
I know.
BuzzFeed, you said that
know.
BuzzFeed
It's
every 6
really
weeks is
bad.
bugging
It's
your
really
phone.
bad.
Hold on.
They're hacking your phone every 6 weeks, but nobody can find your husband. Bullshit.
Fags love gossipy talk. All right,
It's true.
It's amazing.
Wow. That's the title.
Let me
Let's talk about reparations.
Let me do
Let's talk
something.
about
Let me
criminal
say
justice.
something in his defense.
Okay.
Let me say something in his
No,
defense.
that was good.
I don't need you to
Let me
defend
say something
You
in his
think I
defense.
need you to
Okay,
defend me,
Tommy,
motherfucker?
Tommy,
This guy
okay.
thinks
I
I need
want
him
it-
to defend
Tommy,
me. on this
want it-
table.
let it
Relax.
relax.
losing
I want
it
his
today.
Pearl bracelet.
We're not getting anywhere.
He's upset with my dress
for
sense
your
now. So
bracelet.
let me say something in his defense.
It's
He's
like pro wrestling in
obviously
here.
very interested in following the twists and turns and minutiae of my life. I don't know who you are, but welcome.
Let's let him
Let
get the
me
pro
just
wrestling stuff out.
let me acknowledge at least that
Okay.
I am between billionaires at the moment, and I don't think that is a matter of public record. With the result that we had to put a deposit down on the cheap Lamborghini this year. We couldn't get the Aventador, which was really hard for me.
Let him get it,
but
okay.
trust me, I'm doing great. Okay.
Okay.
Logical question to that.
Let me just. Okay.
I believe
Just
in
a
you when you
logical
can
question
sustain
to
eye
that.
contact
But I
for
get
more than a
that.
See, that's
fucking
when all-
cunty.
I can't bear to look at you.
Let him talk. I mean, she raised her hand. No, don't be out. Just
Holy
calm
Mary,
down.
Mother of
she
God.
raised her hand.
Logical
Let her
question
talk.
to that. Just
Right.
a logical question to that.
Yes.
Do you feel like people think, or do you feel that you are getting money
Yeah.
and prospering off of hate
Yes.
and racism?
Okay.
And if so,
No, I
are
think
you
that-
okay with that?
I think it's
Okay, let him
I
answer.
think it's a really intelligent question.
That's perfect.
And
Thank
I
you.
think that
That was a little derogatory right there.
It was.
saying
Okay, I didn't mean that way. Okay, I didn't mean that way. I didn't mean that. Okay.
No, I believe you. I
Can I-
believe you. That was
can
a
I-
Sherrod starting shit. I
First
believe
of all,
you.
that was
You
him
a
starting
queen,
shit.
nigga, you a
And
queen.
second of all, I was just casting you into relief based on what happened just before.
Okay.
So I'll address it directly, and I think it's a good question. Okay.
Vaughn DeCarlo.
Thank you, Vaughn
The
DeCarlo.
answer is no.
CoachVaughn.com.
I think that what's
You don't promote it?
I do not believe that I promote or profit on it. I don't think that there are enough really hateful, nasty, vicious, vile people in America. I don't believe that there's some outbreak of like hundreds of thousands of evil white supremacists,
Million.
like
I saw a million on the way here.
misogynist monsters in America. I don't really believe that's the case. I think if somebody has a career that makes them the kind of money that I make, that has the kind of profile that I have, if somebody is able to do what I have done, I don't think it's possible to do that.
Donald
With
Trump.
hate in your heart. I don't. Well, I guess we're going to disagree on that too.
That he doesn't speak hate.
I'm not here to.
But that's
I'm not
can't be a
here
thing
to stand up for him. But what I can
Right.
tell you for me is, I'm not afraid to offend people. I'm not afraid to upset people. Sometimes, occasionally on a joke, maybe I went too far or whatever. But I would say like the 5 to 10 grossest charges against me.
Right.
That you'll read about if you Google me are
No
just
DP? I'm sorry.
fake. They're false. They didn't happen. The Leslie Jones stuff that people think they know about me, didn't happen.
Okay, now would you apologize to Leslie Jones for taking it if she did think it was like? Would you say
no? I'm not going to apologize for offending somebody. You'd all be out of a job. Comedy is over.
I apologize to people all the time. They call my parents.
Well, then you should stop apologizing because it's stupid. No, I'm never.
It's not stupid if you hurt someone's feelings.
Listen, if I say something that is not part of like a routine or a performance or a joke or a set,
are you
or
a comedian?
Bit,
everybody is.
I hate that argument. You comedians like you have something like a badge, like you have a license.
We do.
007 license.
No, man,
everybody is jumping on that bandwagon.
All I will say to you is
these are the same people who love Joan Rivers, love Patrice O'Neill. They love everybody who's mean to everybody.
You guys,
and then they get outraged because you say one mean thing to somebody.
You guys are allowed Jon Stewart.
You're
allowed. Hang on a second. Okay. You guys are allowed Jon Stewart. You're allowed Bill Maher.
You mean Jews?
You're allowed. No, I don't mean Jews.
Bill Maher and you were keying about fucking trans people. You're on the same side.
It's still going. You guys are allowed all of the late night hosts. You're allowed
all blacks? Of the comedians.
No, I'm saying left wingers are allowed.
I'm not a left winger first.
Okay, I'm not talking. I'm saying.
Yes, you are.
I'm in the middle, nigga.
For a black guy, maybe.
I'm not on the side of any of these gangs.
They're
all gangs
for
to
a
me.
Black guy, you're Genghis Khan.
Left, right, Crip blood, all same shit.
You believe in reparations?
What you said.
I mean,
I'm sorry.
What are we talking? 20s or 100s?
You were talking about this. You were talking about this like, oh, I hate this comedian, like Get Out, right? But what a lot of conservatives, I think, are very frustrated with, and what I think I fill the gap in, which is why so many people
love saying
like
fill the gap
me.
too. You so good.
I don't fill no gap. My gap gets filled. But
he's the bottom.
What a shock.
I know.
I like you for now.
I had no idea.
That's the subtitle to the show, Sherrod. He's the bottom.
At least him and Tommy's finally smile.
All right, you're cool.
There are good bottoms and bad bottoms, as this table demonstrates. But some of them are very happy with life, and some of them are just pissed at everything.
Stop being catty.
Let it go, Tommy.
Everybody's a top here. We're all a top.
What I'm saying is conservatives
I
are
know
allowed.
damn top.
Look, liberals are allowed all of their late night talk show hosts, and these people. They run the gamut from serious cultural commentators to political pundits to like drag performers to comedians to like slapstick actors, whatever. There's a whole range that they're allowed to perform. Yeah. But conservatives,
as long as they white, by the way, too.
Well, you know what?
Every single one is white that you're talking about.
I think the only person who maybe would have cracked that if he was funnier is the new Trevor Noah, the Daily Show guy.
He's just very funny.
He's not. Well,
he's funny. He's South African though. That's what you're getting.
Well, I mean, I guess he's the closest.
He's a very funny guy.
I don't disagree with you. I wish one of them was a bit more like, I would watch it if they were black because I'd be like, jerking off while I was laughing. But
that's a hard thing to pull off.
No, it's
not.
I'm
a comedian. I can't do the two.
That's what Trump says when he watches the NFL.
Most of the time, people are touching themselves and crying, which I understand well.
As I jerk off and laugh, it's all in my face. But nobody else. And then it's like, on me.
I am your daughter. I do understand.
Thank you, white daughter.
But the way that the equivalent, if you look at like.
You saying it's needs to be more conservative. First of all, I did Red Eye on Fox News for a long time.
What would you watch if you were a young, let's say, under 50 guy who was interested in politics, wanted to see a current affairs show that reflected your politics, or at least some of them?
Race Wars, the TV show, just like this.
Of course, great, and I hope you I hope you get the funding, and God bless to get on a network.
Well, you making $3 million? Give me a couple dollars, nigga. I heard. You got the loot.
He spent it all on his shirt.
Give me the loot. Do you have any idea how expensive a Lamborghini is? Yeah. This guy's like, baby. I'm like, I love my car, but do you think we could upgrade? I'm like, yeah, okay.
That's what you get for black. You want black dick? That's what you better do.
In
South Miami.
And by the end of it, we're like with Lamborghini Brow. By the end of it, it's $300,000, and I'm like, oh my god.
Is this a story of upgrading from a white husband to a black husband?
Anyway,
all I'm hearing is codes.
No. Anyway,
so you're not racist, right?
Just imagine what kind of car you could buy if he got reparations.
We could have had the Aventador. What I'm saying is there's no comparable figure on the right, and that's what I want to be one day. And I know I'm not there yet, and I got a long way to go. So that's what I want to be one day. I want to be, the right wing, whether it's
so you're doing stand up? Are you doing stand up? Are you doing like improv?
But that's my point.
You wearing those shirts all day.
Can you imagine what would happen if I got up on like an open mic night in New York? The same thing would happen.
I'm sure I tried to go for brunch.
I tried to go for brunch.
Damn it.
3 few weeks ago in New York. And they chased me out of the bar with chants of Nazi.
You've referenced that 5 times. It's great publicity for you. If you're brave, you go up and do your art.
Do you know what is the best way to fight fascism? Chasing Jewish men out of bars. That's a really good way to fight fascism.
Or being honest and pursuing what you want to fucking do.
Nazi scum get out and chasing somebody out of a bar. That's a really good way to fight fascism.
Here's the thing. Nobody's going to...
Yes. Wait, you're Jewish, Milo?
Yes, no.
Getting chased out of brunch is the whitest crime I've ever heard.
If you wanted to...
Perfect example of how the left has moved from their original
Jewish?
objectives.
Milo, are you Jewish?
Well, my mother is Jewish.
So that makes sense.
So you're Jewish. So technically, yes, I was raised Catholic, but
you think there's anything but a Jew trying to get all this attention?
I do think of myself. I do consider
anything
myself
but a Jew.
I think that you're very fearless with what you do. So anything that you choose to do, you would have that same fearless approach. So I don't think that that's really what you want to do.
But to get back to what we were saying earlier, to your question,
Von DeCarlo,
whether my hands are clean and whether I think I profit on hate, no. I think I tell jokes about people you're not supposed to tell jokes about anymore. And sometimes those jokes may be misfired.
Like what people?
Like everybody around
Like the fat?
But I will tell jokes about feminists, about trannies, about you name it, right? And sometimes people don't like those jokes.
No, I heard a bunch of jokes on that.
And they will
why feminism is
recharacterize
cancer.
that
Can
stuff.
somebody ask them why feminism is cancer? Because I'm not here.
Oh my God, Susan! Shut up.
When you carry yourself in a political platform and have influence in a political realm, as opposed to in a comedic realm, performing as a comedian, your platform is politics. So you have probably a different influence.
I've never said that.
So
I mean, I am an author. I've written journalism, and most of my journalism is heavier with jokes than it is with politics.
Okay.
I've gone on college tours, which are almost indistinguishable from stand-up sets. You want to define me as politics? That's with you. I didn't do that.
Milo, if you wanted to, you could get up. You could skip the open mics altogether. Like, honest to God, if you wanted to, you could get up on like whatever comedy club you wanted, as many times as you wanted, however many nights a week as you wanted. You could like make an act.
I have a really good routine about that.
Let's hear it, nigga. Let's hear your bullshit.
I'm not going to do it, but that beautiful guy, you know, the
if
guy
he gets past at the cellar before
what
me, I'm
beautiful
gonna kill
guy?
No, you know that beautiful.
I already said yes.
Comics would.
I think it already
comics would hate you because you would get past where you wanted. Like you could do if you wanted to be the Jon Stewart of the right, you could do it.
And you know
what?
Look,
anybody who works on a craft, I respect.
And maybe,
so whatever.
maybe
Let's do your roast. I'll do your roast. I'll produce it. Let's do a little roast of Milo.
He's gonna produce it with your money, Milo. That $3 million.
No, I don't need the money.
You know what? It's okay because I got it. But if you want to produce the roast of Milo Yiannoupoulos,
can I borrow $5?
Give me the gayest high five I've ever had in my life.
No, I don't. That was as much as I can do. The roast of Milo Yiannoupoulos, there won't be a better attended show in New York that year.
We're doing
Trust
it.
me.
We're doing it.
But you know, if you did put together an act, it would sell out. You would
shut up, Karen.
As long as we don't have. Can I
why
just ask you?
It would. She just wants to be his opening
act. I just
act.
need one guarantee.
Right.
Because when I did this show, your producers were like, "No, it's not going to be hostile. It's going to be fun. It's going to be lovely." And then you invited Susan. So I just want a guarantee that we're not going to have Susan.
No Susan Sarandon?
No Susan. No.
Oh, Tommy?
My name is not Susan?
He's MC.
Was that a Whitney Houston reference?
No.
Listen, I'm sorry. You should put a trigger warning on this.
Jersey girl.
Sorry, Milo. We didn't know you needed a trigger warning.
I love all
for my
Jersey
attendance.
girls.
I didn't know you'd be so triggered. Well, I brought you back to your adolescence because I ruined your life. I made you almost suicidal in your teen years. You said that.
Did?
You said that.
Wait, did you say that?
Yeah, he said guys like me, fags like me.
Okay.
Oh, like
So, guys.
Well, considering that he's
quite a different
taking
thing,
only Noam can say the F word.
Somebody did not pass basic critical thinking.
Because
there's
I
a difference between you did X.
Jokes on you. We never learned critical thinking.
You said people like me did X.
Right. I want to know
what
what
kind
kind
of a different
Listen,
claim.
I don't get to see inside a gay world like this where gays are fucking
Yo,
giving
but
gays
listen,
hard
this
time
is the
for being
thing.
gay.
I get it. I was a conservative in high school. I met George W. Bush. I was the president of the Young Republicans
Not
Club.
right wing enough for me.
Yeah, fair enough.
So who made fun of you?
No.
What gays made fun of you in high school?
No,
What hurt you?
Wait.
I read the review.
What hurt you? Because what they always do.
Where'd you grow up?
What's they? Who's they? I'm me. I'm here. Make eye contact with me, not to just be a cunt.
I mean you.
But actually human to human.
You are a
Yeah, don't just give me the fucking cunty side eye.
Fine.
Hold eye contact with me.
We have
like
eye contact.
a fucking
You are
adult
a brain-dead,
male
lisping
to
prick.
another.
Okay,
That's not
now
all
you
right.
have
Fine,
it.
I heard you.
I miss Dan Natterman.
But sustain
What
it
I'm
now,
a jerk off.
Milo. Sustain it after. Sustain that eye contact after. after the fucking insult.
I can't bear to
Sustain
look at
it.
you. It's
yeah. Why?
Tommy,
Why?
It's
Tommy,
like
He's lying.
It's like
He's
looking
lying.
at rock
This is
garbage.
pushing
It's
Everything's
buttons.
a lie.
It's just pushing buttons.
All right.
No,
Let me
I'm
get
not.
control.
I'm not.
Can you hang up on
listen,
Tommy
It's
too?
taking me a
Yeah,
minute to see that you
I
do
can hang
that.
up on that.
And you push buttons with sarcasm
He's good at
very
it.
well. No?
No, I'm terrible
No.
at it. But he's just very thin-skinned, so I'm not even having to try. No, I mean, if I actually wanted to insult him, he'd be hanging from a rafter by now. No, but
Is that a lynching joke?
It was pretty good.
No.
What was that? What?
No, but you
He
can
looked at
try
the
to
black
make it
women. I'm
racist
just
if
saying,
you
for the
want.
record, he looked at the black women. When he said that, after
Because I was
Because they're
talking
supposed to
He
in
was talking to me. I asked
them.
the
All right, fine,
question.
fair
Calm
enough.
down,
You
Tommy.
look like such a prick.
No, listen,
I was just trying to pick a fight that time.
Everybody
Yeah,
breathe.
no, you can't pick a
Bad
fight.
way.
I'm very aware and conscious of what's going on here. I'm not gonna.
I don't like
reel
being
in with
but
a
I
fight.
can tell you
Is
what's
that
going
a
on from my
necessary
end.
game? Yeah,
I don't like.
Swing
I know
from
because
a
I'm angry
tree.
because
I don't
this
take no bait for
motherfucker
that,
over
man.
here is going to co-opt the gay struggle of his teen years and then
co-opt
blame it
the
on
gay
guys like
fuck out of
me,
it.
but not have a fucking human moment. You won't have a human moment. This is why you sucked on Bill Maher. This is why you can't do TV.
Sorry, by
because you
sucked on Bill
won't
Maher,
be
do you mean
fucking
the,
human.
By
You
sucked on Bill Maher, do you mean the
Pun intended.
highest rated interview of the season? Is that what you mean by sucked
I
on
don't
Bill
care
Maher?
how many
Sucking
eyes were
idiot?
on it. I don't care how many eyes were on it. I saw it, and I can assess quality for myself. I saw what you did. I'm trying to have a conversation with you now.
Everybody focus on me now.
Milo, you're on the way down.
Tommy.
The most radical thing you can fucking do, the most radical thing you can do is actually be a genuine person now.
Really?
You can actually be vulnerable. You can actually talk about why you thought that this pursuit of publicity, this pursuit of fame,
do you know what would
was
encourage me to be real and vulnerable?
I don't give a
Is
fuck,
people
Milo.
who- well, you
Wait. You just asked him to be. You just asked him to be. Tommy, calm down.
In the course of this show, you have displayed that you definitely give a fuck about me because you know shit about me that I'd forgotten. So let me tell you.
that's true.
Let me
Like a
tell you.
natural
Let me tell you.
But Milo, I'm a gay guy in America. We all know shit about you.
You definitely give a fuck about
You
me.
got what you wanted. We
But
all
let
know
me-
shit about
but
you.
Let me
All
tell,
of us.
Let me tell you what might have encouraged me
These
to be
IPAs,
raw
boy.
and vulnerable and open in a way that I was hoping today would go.
Yes.
Would be if one of the guests on today's show had not walked into the bar downstairs and said, "Oh, it's so nice to meet a Nazi in person."
You laughed about it at the
And
time.
I didn't say that.
No,
Neither one. I said it. I said it.
I did.
He did
For
it.
the record, I said it.
And
Okay,
I
wait.
laughed it off to be a nice guy, but I knew what was coming. I knew what was coming, and I knew that you were incapable of treating me at face value, incapable of having an
You
open
can't
mind,
sustain eye contact
incapable-
with me.
I don't want to look at you.
You couldn't
All
do
right.
it before,
Okay, everybody-
You
Milo.
walked in calling me a
You're a
Nazi.
fucking pussy.
And the next thing you did was claim my
How
husband
much-
doesn't exist. I wish you were dead.
I didn't claim
don't
that.
want to look at you.
Okay, that's good. That's great.
I don't want to
Cool,
look
Milo.
at you.
All right,
Great.
all right. Listen.
You're on the way
world would
down.
be-
You're
Hey,
descending. I'm curious where drugs
The
play into
world
this.
would be
Tommy.
a better place with you hanging
He's
yourself
still
from
a guest.
from a parking
Tommy!
lot.
From
okay?
a raptor, I should
Is
kill
that
myself.
what you want to
Good
hear?
one.
Yeah, you
Is
really
that what you
should.
wanna say,
You really
motherfucker?
should. Whatever's caused this
Let me in the
dramatic
eye while you
abrupt-
say that.
Whatever's
How
caused this
much
dramatic
white
abrupt
rage
weight loss,
do
you
I
should
have
just give
to
into it and stop
fucking-
taking the drugs.
How much white rage I gotta be in charge of today?
Oh,
I mean,
it's
How
not.
much whiteness is gonna get out of control here?
You know,
When a black man
This is
gotta
not
be the
whiteness.
fucking
You know,
voice of
you know it's funny.
Noam,
This
shut
is
your
gayness.
They
white-
complain about erasing
I'm talking
African
about
Americans
Kurt
and all
was
this,
Kurt
all this
still on the
bullshit.
phone?
That's true, fair enough.
Let's get Kurt back on the line.
And a white gay guy
Jesus,
who
I
doesn't
was
agree with their
scared. I
politics,
didn't know
who's
what
married
happened.
with
Girl,
a
the
black guy,
vitriol.
suddenly they don't
Right.
exist or they're pathologized,
Holy
they're
shit.
evil.
You've
I
been
never
thinking
said
about
he
that the
didn't
whole
exist
time.
Oh
from
my
the
God,
start.
it's pathetic.
Oh, okay.
Listen to me.
I thought you
Milo,
tapped out.
I don't know how to say this, but thank you. You're the new co-host of Race Wars, and I hope you like your spot.
Oh my God. I'm happy to be here every
Great
week.
idea.
You bring
It's
it
been
too
Yeah,
much
that's
to
been
this, so
great.
it's not to work.
No, it's been wonderful.
It's me
been
and you,
wonderful. But can we,
motherfucker.
can we
Can I
at
ask
least
him a question or two?
we just
Yeah.
at least need to keep
Milo.
Susan in a box next time.
Milo,
Just like sort of,
you see, then you're antagonizing him.
I don't care.
Let's talk about it
Why would I care?
professionally.
Excuse me. I'm sorry. Am I at fault for antagonizing someone who says my husband doesn't exist?
No.
No, I'm
You're
fucking
at
not.
fault- you're at fault
I'm
for-
happy to antagonize
you're
him
at
from
fault-
now until the end of creation.
You're at fault.
You
Until
know
the
something?
end of creation.
Okay.
I will be
Milo.
happy
Am I gonna
to
choke him?
create
Am
the
I gonna
same
choke him?
kind of simpering fury
Listen,
that I
Noam
see
doesn't
opposite me.
understand because he
I'll be
wished
happy
somebody-
to create that the rest of my life because this guy, first
I
of all,
can't
calls me a
stop coming.
Nazi,
I'm sorry.
which is
I just thought the
ludicrous.
3 million was
and
cute.
second of all,
Noam just wished somebody that said that his wife didn't exist. That's why he,
I know lots of straight men wish their wives didn't exist.
I'm going to get a joke in, goddammit.
Dead
For
ass.
the record,
Boys.
sweetheart, I'm sure I put you up the high five and I wouldn't do it.
He did it!
Okay, Milo, I have a question.
Go.
Just forget about it.
So you promised me that Susan wasn't going to be here today. Well, not him in particular, because obviously I didn't know who he was. But
I think you want to continue this.
No, you promised me.
You know you gotta have
You
chubby
promised me
nigga.
this was going to be nice and
I'm gonna ask you a nice question.
Why would the show Race Wars?
And instead, you introduced some single-celled organism into the conversation, and it derailed the whole show. It derailed the whole show.
I
thought gay
If
men
he
like
was any more
single-celled,
stupid, you'd have
Milo,
to water him.
All right, I'm done. Milo.
If he was any more stupid,
Be
you would
nice.
have to water
Guys,
him.
can we talk about something
You
else?
know?
Can we talk about something?
It's
No, I
nice
want
to
to
make
talk
Kurt
about how
Metzger.
ugly and stupid he is.
Milo, would you be more comfortable if we both took our shirts
has
off?
a question.
Please ask me the question.
I want to ask you about two questions. First, the second one first.
Yes, he is ugly. Yes, he is stupid.
Let's go. Just don't look away.
Reparations.
Okay.
Yes.
You believe in reparations.
What I said specifically in this show and specifically in the past was I'm open
Okay.
to the argument, and I'm kind of like I'm pretty.
You're basically
open
sold
to it,
on it.
Open to it to the point of like being, yeah, I wouldn't be mad about it.
But to help,
So now,
What I would want is just very targeted investment in, for instance, in
like my pockets. No, not for me. in
Well,
particular.
now
Hold
we've,
on, you'd want
now
to-
we've met. You can have $100. But now we've met. I would
Some
want
sneakers, nigga.
specific.
Get them
I would want
J's.
specific investment. For $100,
Get
for
them
specific, I would
J's.
want specific investment in things that are going to help the poorest, smartest black kids get to Harvard, and I think that's just like really fucking shit hot schools in really poor areas.
But why Harvard? Why not?
Howard.
Why
Howard.
not a traditionally
Howard.
a black school? Howard, Morgan,
Morehouse,
Hampton, because they got great engineering programs, got great programs here, and that money will go back.
How
into,
about any
Why
higher?
take the
We want
Wait,
Wakanda.
Obviously,
Why take
any
that black
college
money?
is fine. We agree. Obviously, I'm using Harvard as a proxy for
Alright, don't do
prestigious higher
Because
higher
it
Okay.
does sound like black money going right back into white hands to me.
Yeah,
That's
so
why
we
I said
agree.
white Harvard.
Okay, well, I think that's a bit much. I think what you should want for
And
your-
as if there's no prestigious black schools.
Yeah.
Question.
Because
there
aren't?
There's no prestigious
Yes, they are.
I don't
So-
believe
sorry,
that
what?
we should
They're
be
not
taught.
prestigious
No, I
black
don't
schools.
think you should
They
send your
are
kids to schools
Prestigious
because
black
they're.
schools don't exist?
No, I'm
What are
not
you,
saying.
nuts? I
Did
was-
y'all
I'm
not
not
see
saying
House
that
at Howard?
Excuse me, I'm
They're
not.
not prestigious in the sense that if you go to a major Fortune 500 company with that degree, they're
Morehouse
gonna,
degree. Where the fuck is that?
That's
Really?
Not,
Well,
that's
I don't know if
prestigious
you go to
name.
like Beatrice that was
I
owned
don't
by black
want-
people.
I
You
do
go anywhere
not
where
want
black
black
people.
people-
The point of
dumb as
that,
shit.
No, I
the
do
point
not
of that
want
is
black
that we
people.
need to be having our own companies and
No,
go to our own
wrong.
company.
100%
That's
wrong.
wrong.
Howard
100%
University,
wrong.
versus
Hampton.
Board of
I do
Education
not
was
want-
one of the worst
I
decisions
do
for
not
the Supreme
want
Court.
black people funneled into black-only schools where they only hang
didn't
out with
say
other
funnel-
black people.
I said all
I
places.
want black people at Yale, Harvard, Dartmouth. I want black
gonna
people
joke you.
properly
I'm gonna
represented.
joke you.
Properly what?
They get
Properly
the
what?
police called on them when they're sleeping in
at
the common
very
room.
best schools in the
I
country.
agree.
I do not want them ghettoized into historically
not
black
ghettoized.
colleges.
That's not
ghettoized.
Listen,
Listen,
See, that's
what
the
you're-
I
part
do
where
not
you
want
where
it.
you be
All right,
offensive.
I don't
I
want it.
actually
So
went
you're
to Morgan. Let me
Don't-
talk on this. I actually went to a school like this. You talking about? So let
Okay,
me talk
calm
on it.
down,
And you
Auntie
ain't working
Sherrod.
at a hedge
Get it
fund,
off.
are you?
Get
Come
it
on,
off.
Kurt.
But I got
Give
you.
your
Get it
opinion.
So we still here, nigga. First of all, it's not a ghettoized anything. If you in college in any sort, it's not a ghetto situation unless you're in the 13th grade in a community
Exactly.
college.
That's bullshit.
These are
How
universal
is that bullshit? Have you ever been on a
Like saying
campus?
anything beyond this tiny
Focus.
bar is fine. It's not fine. I
Just
want black
focus.
kids in the
Focus.
best schools in the
So
country.
for me, that means you think black means ghetto.
Oh, I can't
No,
get a fucking...
So how
ghetto-
is a black university
See,
a
now you're talking
ghettoization?
like now you're talking like one of them.
No, I'm not.
I'm saying I don't want people ghettoized.
Oh, they about to break
You
up.
literally just said
Yeah, we're gonna break up.
you do
He
not
said
want someone
ghettoized. He didn't
ghettoized.
mean-
I would
didn't
use
mean
the
the
same.
ghetto
Okay,
like
I
that.
would use the same
Come on,
expression
no.
about women
never
only
been to a black
colleges.
school.
Okay.
I'm sure,
I would use
however,
the same expression about
Focus
women
on
only
the word
colleges, which I
ghettoized, sweetheart.
also.
You
Okay,
said about
literally
the
just
question.
You guys are
said-
being unfair. He didn't mean into the black
Let's
ghetto.
just-
No,
But
but
you have
you
to be
literally
accountable
just
for
said
his
you
words.
don't want people
Stupid.
ghettoized.
Just use a different
Milo,
word. Okay, I
Milo.
don't want them funneled off.
Can I have you a question?
All
Can
right?
I ask you a real question? You literally just said if a black person goes to a historically black
Yes.
university or college,
think it
that
will
is a ghettoization.
Yes, in the
And that means you
broad
think that
sense
black
of the
people
word.
being together is ghetto.
No, it
No, it
doesn't.
doesn't.
How does that not mean
No,
that?
it
How does that not
doesn't.
mean that?
Because-
Listen, let me get my
because
point
you're
in. I went to
using-
Morgan State.
The word ghetto is
Went to Morgan.
predates the
I
black
have
experience.
loved you right up until that comment, but
I'm
that
not
was
even
stupid.
talking
That
about
was
that. He
stupid.
just said specifically.
Listen,
You said something I said was stupid.
Yes,
Yeah,
because I've loved you till then.
told y'all y'all wasn't gonna last.
I knew it wasn't gonna last. I knew it wasn't gonna last.
I'm available, Milo.
No, listen, ghettoization, I meant specifically and only to mean one group
One group
funneling
of
itself
people, like
off and
Jews
cutting itself
or
off.
Irish.
de
Could be
facto
Jews.
segregation, like
Yes.
what works
Yes.
Could be Jews.
in other communities.
Okay,
yeah.
so
But now let
so
me tell you the truth. A black school is never all black. It's just not a
No,
thing.
you had Sean
Rachel
King at
Dolezal
Morehouse.
was there.
You think he's that was a good stab. You are such a queen.
I'm gonna get one off
So
somewhere.
listen, here's the thing.
Ghettoized means to
was good, right?
segregate.
To
De
segregate
facto
into one
segregation.
zone.
Understand
among
that
themselves.
ghetto
And
and
that's not-
segregation
like the
have
Warsaw ghetto.
overtones, but that
Okay.
was. But
And that's
I
not
think-
what a black university is.
I think women's
And that's
colleges
not
are
a black
stupid
He
university
says
too.
it's de facto segregation,
Women-
and that's what it is.
Okay, listen.
No, but he's
women's
just making an
colleges are
assumption.
stupid too. If there was a Jewish college, that would be stupid. If there was a gay college, that would be stupid. And you know why? Not because it's not right to provide a safe space for black people where they can flourish best,
But that's
but
not how
because
you
it
look- you're looking at
doesn't
it wrong.
it doesn't
You're looking at it
prepare
wrong.
you for life in the real world.
But you act like you after college you're prepared for the real world. You still need more learning after college.
Of course, but shouldn't college give you the best chance possible in those?
Yeah,
but there are studies.
Depending if you go to college.
Don't get that.
You act like there's not programs in these black schools that send you to other universities to take different classes.
They go
all
study
around
abroad.
Maryland.
You
All
study
around
abroad.
Maryland.
You
I went to
should
school in
be
Maryland.
at the best
We went to
school.
all the schools in Maryland where the tarps. We went to every
You
all
should
the
be at the
school,
best
on every
school
campus.
in the
That's where our
country
programs were.
for the subject you want to learn. If you're a computer scientist, if you had been a computer scientist, you should be at MIT or you should be at Stanford. I don't
Not
give
necessarily.
a shit how many black or Asian or
No,
white
you know.
people are there. I want you to have the best.
You can go to
teachers
Louisiana Tech.
and the best.
You go to Louisiana Tech.
course.
Just
But
as good.
like
Because
goes
those
with
two-
like. There are
because those-
studies
that's
that show
you're
that.
saying
Georgia
white is
Tech.
right.
Fred is
Two
saying
White is
things.
right.
Because those two things give you the best chance of succeeding later,
Let's
of
speak.
rising
Yeah,
to a
that's
titan of
okay.
industry, and to then be in a position to not only inspire but bring other black people up behind you. Right? When you are in a position where you own your own company, or
I
you
agree with
are
that.
You
like
could do that at Morehouse.
but you can do it
It's
better.
Spelman.
You can do it better.
Not
if you went to
necessarily. Not
Harvard.
necessarily.
No.
I'm
Listen to
sorry,
me.
that's just
Like
not.
goes with
Listen
like.
to me. That's not.
Please let Sherrod talk about his degree, y'all.
True, because
Jesus.
sometimes
He's very desperate to
He
do
never
it.
said he finished.
even me.
Oh.
And two Brute. No. And two nigga.
The co-hosts are fighting.
I wouldn't dare. I wouldn't dare.
I
Listen,
like my little
sometimes
fires
it ain't-
that I put in there.
Everything's
They don't
not for
even see it coming.
Y'all ain't even listening. Everything's not for everybody. That's because Harvard's a great school for Harvard
Right.
people. Don't mean some people go to Princeton.
Obviously.
Because Princeton's better for them.
Obviously.
Some people go to Yale. Because Yale may be better than them.
I went
Some
to the
people
Art
go to
Institute of
Howard
Pittsburgh.
because Howard's better for them.
Agreed. But
Some
what-
people go to a fucking NC fucking.
But we started this
18
by saying, if you agree with reparations, where do you want the money spent? And I said that spending it on amazing high schools in
Right.
poor areas gives young, smart black kids the best
Yeah.
opportunities.
I think
They
elementary,
don't have to go to Harvard,
junior,
but they have
and
more
high
choices.
school's a better
They
thing
have
to
more
do.
Can I say
choices.
something? Because I actually went to a
No,
public school in
Susan.
this country, and it was the first public school in the country. And Harvard was actually invented
let
the
him
year it
talk.
founded the year after, so the kids from my high school had a place to go. My high school's 1635. It's
Everything
1636.
hurts. Okay.
When I was in high school, we had a racial quota because it's an exam school.
Every bit of my body
It's
is
the Stuyvesant
aching.
if you know New York
Okay.
City. Milo, just relax for 2 seconds, all right?
I can't.
Because I'm your
Gay
worst
dudes
nightmare. I'm
would
your
be the
worst nightmare,
biggest-
Milo,
No,
because
no,
I'm a
you-
gay guy that actually
Baby,
respects that
baby,
you have
don't
the right
even
to
register.
say what you
You're
want.
not my worst nightmare.
Fine.
You're just in a studio
Fair
with me
enough.
right now.
Fair enough.
All right, just breathe. Everybody breathe.
But all I will say
Everybody who's gay, breathe right now.
is that when I was in high school, at a high school, Boston Latin school, that was very racially segregated,
Okay.
had a racial quota so that a certain number of non-white students could get in. And in my year, 2 girls sued, and that quota was abolished in my year. So I saw the school change.
Who were their parents? Jews?
Whites.
Am I
No,
right
no,
now?
whites.
You can't
No, are
say
you
that
here?
in New York. Oh my goodness.
I can. I'm Jewish.
But one thing that happened when I was in high
This show is
school
actually edgy, and it's you on Jews. Isn't
was
it?
that a
'Cause you
teacher
it
got in a
twice
lot
today
of
already.
trouble.
It's you
A
on
teacher got in a
Jews.
lot of trouble for writing an op-ed about how segregated the lunchroom was. And he cited all these studies about how like goes with like. We look
They
for
had a
people.
fried chicken corner.
We
It's called
look
de facto segregation.
We look for
Yeah,
people
fact.
that look like us because we understand that they're going to
agree.
recognize what we've been through. So
Yes.
Milo, in that
It is
in
better
that
for your
way,
psyche.
In his-
I understand.
in his,
I let you
uh,
speak so much and say so much shit about me,
in
so you
his-
can just like
in
rear
his-
the
No,
fuck
okay,
lax
okay.
In
and
his-
let me
Let it
say
out,
one
Tommy.
word.
adorable elementary way. He's trying to talk about in-group preferences, which are so it's a sociological
You
term.
can't
It's something that
fucking
evolutionary
outdo me on
it's-
this.
It's
Okay.
something
I
that
have done
evolutionary
all that
biologists
work.
talk
I
about.
worked in fucking
I
social
know
services.
about it, okay? Well, he's trying to
Milo,
talk is trying to
You just
talk about
interrupt people
in-group
until they stop.
reference.
But Milo, I defend your right to do it, and I will cede the floor to you because you need it. Because you're on the way down, and this is all you have. Go.
If I get him to stop right now, you apologize to Leslie in front of me.
No.
In front of me,
I'm
Milo.
not. No.
Sherrod, can I ask a question?
Milo, you got to do it for our friendship.
No,
to
I
survive.
don't.
What is the apology
If we were,
to Leslie?
if we were
Yeah,
friends,
bitches
you
be
would not
so
be
crazy,
asking
am I
me
right?
to violate my conscience.
What is the apology?
I
Sherrod,
am not
I'ma talk,
sorry.
I'ma talk first.
what is
I
the
am not sorry.
apology that you're seeking?
I'm just
for
want him
specifically?
To say, I want to say sorry to Leslie. Just
For what?
If these dum-dums out here who might think they follows of mine, who ain't, want to say some dumb racist shit to you,
Yes.
and you felt anyway,
Yes.
me as Milo, yappa dabba dabba doos.
Yes.
I want to just give my sincerest.
No. No. I'm not
that
going
would
to
cost you nothing.
And you know what?
See, it would cost you nothing.
No, if she were here,
Milo, that's
if
what
she-
hurts me as
Listen, if she were here in person, just to be a nice guy.
It's funny you should mention that.
What?
If she
Bring
were,
her out.
just to be in person, maybe
That would have been great.
that was fun.
That would have been
You
great.
should have done that. If you'd done that, you would have won.
Jeez. So what you're saying is you don't want to apologize
refused to come,
and
by
be
the way.
accountable for what everybody else said
Correct.
that you didn't say.
You don't care
But
how
for
your
what
followers
you,
feel.
but wait. But for what you said
Don't
in calling
yell.
her
Mike's
ugly,
working. Mike's
I
working.
called her ugly. I said
you
she
don't
looked
want
like a
to
man.
apologize for that.
In addition,
If that hurt her
Did you
feelings.
call her ugly?
Yes, I did.
Why you do that?
In addition, because she
Michelle,
is.
Michelle Wolf called Sarah
She
Sanders
is
ugly
not.
too.
Excuse me. Excuse me.
How did she do that?
How
How did she do that? She did it.
Somebody
Did you-
found ugly?
Did
No,
you?
she
did
did
you?
do that.
Oh, I
do
thought
that.
you meant the
Did you-
eyeshadow thing.
No, no,
Sorry.
no. She said,
Did
I
you
love you
ask
as
your
Lydia.
guest last week
No,
to
that was
apologize?
just her eyeshadow too.
Yes,
Listen,
it
you
was.
Listen, everybody quiet.
Did you
Quiet.
ask your guest last week to apologize for calling Tiffany Trump a balloon-faced whatever it was?
After I high-fived her, yes. I spilled in my pants.
All right,
yes.
so you
Everybody
agree.
was doing
So
that.
you agree with the target, but that's
Here's the thing.
bullshit.
No,
Here's the
I-
thing.
I
Can
can't-
But I said it, and I stand
I
by
can't
it.
say
and
a celebrity is ugly.
you're right.
My God, what is this
I am
country?
his daughter, and
Listen.
my fully black dad said it was fine to call some bitch balloon-headed. So in my defense,
Yes.
it's
Oh, that was
fine.
you?
That's supposed to be. I'm
Oh
sorry.
my God. Okay,
Listen,
so
listen, look at me. When everybody attacked Ann Coulter,
Girl,
It's
you know
fine.
it was me.
It's fine. It's fine. But I
I'm
was
trying to raise
merely
my
drawing
balls.
attention to the double standard.
when everybody attacked Ann Coulter or that fucking Comedy Central fucking roast and went at her like she was not a woman, I came down on all those fucking savages.
Yeah.
You didn't
Because
come
they
down
ca-
on Susan.
That was wrong.
every
Sherrod, don't
savage-
have a heart
No,
attack.
it's my
Calm
show.
down.
I'm gonna have a
Calm
heart
down.
attack now.
Okay.
This is my heart attack time. When I came down on all these fucking savages who were
Daddy.
attacking Ann Coulter, no.
I
For
smell an
attacking Ann
erection.
Coulter, everybody was like this. She ain't shit. But I was like, if you're gonna attack any woman that way, you're gonna attack every woman that way.
Yes.
We
Sorry,
all
that's flashy. I'm sorry,
came.
that's I'm not apologizing for that.
Oh no, he was so manly.
But-
My leather
You,
coat's
Susan?
okay.
I
That's
am.
why I'm just saying to you.
I am not going to be compelled to apologize for something.
But if
If-
somebody put themselves on the dais, then you open fucking for ridicule. But I
If-
still thought it was gross the way they
if-
went at her, and it's gross to go to any woman like that.
I agree.
And that's where the fucking shit need to be
Hang
drawn
on a
in the
second.
line.
We are sliding off our
By the
seats.
way, can I just point
Let
out
him finish.
Can I just point out the fact that when I called her a dude, right? I was as much laughing at me as I was laughing at her because I said, "Oh, it's
You
so
have
good that
tits?
she, it's so
That's fair.
good that they cast a hot black dude in the new Ghostbusters." I was drawing as much attention to my sexual proclivities,
Right.
which is the main thing people would have taken away from that, as the fact that
I think because you said
she's
it,
not
that's
physically
what's- I get
appealing,
it.
right?
And because you dress
That's
like a lady.
all I did.
Okay, that's fair.
Look, I just wanted to make the point.
Please
Wait,
don't
Milo,
splash
Milo, one
nothing
second. I just want to make a
I'm
point.
not
You
going to smash you, I
comedians.
promise.
You
If I'm gonna
guys,
splash
well, hold
a
up.
pocket here to get
You
it
guys have to decide how you feel about these kind of insults. As I said, Joan
Yeah.
Rivers would say all kinds of stuff. Patrice
Either it's
O'Neal,
okay to call
Patrice
Michelle
O'Neal, you
Obama
said the
tranny,
most
or it
horrible
isn't.
things. Michelle Wolf
Patrice is
did
a
make
legend.
fun of Sarah, and you guys all sometimes you even admire their bravery, whatever it is. Is it because he called somebody ugly, or is it because he called somebody black
Well,
ugly?
Patrice
'Cause
said
I think
things.
it's really
Patrice
because
said
she's black.
things.
And he's
Patrice,
Am I
Patrice
wrong?
is a-
Would you
a
be
widow.
hold on? Would you be half this upset if
Patrice
you had called
said
some white
things,
woman black?
Patrice said things not to
A
be
white woman ugly.
Everyone just
was
let it go.
telling them.
Mom, don't.
Patrice said things not to be shocking. He had a greater point. Not
That's
to be
great.
shocking. Everything that he was saying,
I know
it wasn't.
Patrice.
Right,
and he was
but you-
mean
but-
as hell,
but-
all right?
He wasn't mean.
Do you remember?
Yes, he was
Do you remember I
mean.
said?
Okay.
We
He
loved
was
him, but he was
mean.
fucking hell.
But
He would
you-
pick
but
on-
you remember
he would
that-
pick on people who
He was fair.
Didn't even have it coming.
But you remember
everybody on Earth has it coming.
He made me cry 2 times.
Good, and you deserve. It should have been 3.
And it was
should
an
have been 3
honor.
times.
You remember I said,
he was mean.
my criticism of Ghostbusters included, unusually for a review that was long and brutal, the only nice thing was about Leslie Jones. Now, I'm entitled to say, as a public figure, that I think a celebrity is ugly. If I can't do
nice,
that,
though. It's
I
not
didn't
nice.
say that
it's
you
not
weren't.
nice, but who gives a shit? It's not racist.
We've all done
not
it.
racist.
We've
You
all
spent
done
the
it.
first
We've
part
all
of this
done it.
podcast
Right.
being upset about me not being nice.
It's not nice,
I'm not
but
saying
it's
that
not
you-
racist.
I'm not saying that you don't have the right to say that.
Lies. It's
The-
all lies.
Who spilled all this?
Pumpkin, we were talking about public
gotta
figures,
talk.
not
We gotta
you.
keep this in conversation.
We were talking about famous people, not you. I am
I'm seeking
allowed-
fame like you at
I am
no cost.
allowed to
I'm actually
to
interested
comment
in having conversations,
on whether somebody.
Milo.
No, you're not, because if you were interested in having comments, you would
You
come in the bar,
motherfucker interrupt
calling me
every
a
motherfucker
Nazi.
that you speak to redirect the focus to yourself and your behavior.
If you were interested-
Sit the fuck down.
If a person,
You're on the way out,
if a
Milo. We're all
person-
just watching it happen.
If a person was interested in conversation, would their first words to you be, so nice to meet a Nazi in person? If a person was interested in conversation, would they have conducted themselves like they did at the beginning of this interview?
Good.
Claiming
Turn
that
it around
somebody's
on me,
husband
motherfucker. You still haven't
didn't
answered the question,
exist?
bitch.
Everybody
Would a
focus.
person who is
Focus.
interested in conversation do either of those two
Milo,
things?
you haven't
I don't
answered my
think so.
fucking question. You're a pussy. You are a
No
fucking
name
pussy.
calling. No name calling.
Sherrod wants to spill
She's
all
so
drinks.
upset. She's spilling drinks. Good lord.
We can't name call.
I can. Well, all
We
right.
gotta be
fine.
careful of
Sure,
New York.
glasses.
Pumpkin. We gotta be careful of that.
I'm just a
love
huge
you.
Leslie
Because
Jones fan.
We gotta be careful
I
because
love Leslie.
because if we scratch one lens on this, it's worth his whole life insurance. So we gotta be super careful.
Don't let him
We
get
gotta
under
be
your
super
It's on you,
careful.
bitch. I got no life insurance.
Oh, good. I'm so
do.
good. And I know health insurance
Every
either.
black
I hope.
person get life insurance.
Wow. Oh.
Moral of the story.
Oh, for the love of the
That's my
rabbi, I am so
message.
embarrassed.
This is why he's
All right,
so
can we-
angry.
can
This
we
is why he's
Milo?
so angry. He has to wander around with like a tip cup at the end of the
We have
evening just to make
everybody
enough money for the
Let me talk.
antiretrovirals.
But do you love that though?
Let me
You
talk.
love making people
Let me
angry.
just talk to the nigga.
I will tell you that I only respond in kind, and I only respond when provoked. And you know, I
it?
came into look. You know what?
Could have been such an interesting
when
podcast.
somebody comes in and
is.
says,
I have come to
nice meet-
exhaustion.
when somebody comes in and says, nice to meet a Nazi in person, and your
would've
husband
turned it
doesn't
off.
exist, it is very clear to me that there's nothing to be gained by serious conversation. So yeah, my troll brain kicks in, and I'm very happy to make him as angry as he obviously now is.
You gotta calm down, man. It's conversation.
It delights me.
To be fair,
I'm
none
very,
of us
I'm
have
very happy
stopped
about
coming
it. It makes me
for
very
the past hour and a half.
And you know what? I'm not going to stop coming for the rest of his fucking life because he's done now. He is done. He's crossed the Rubicon. He's out. He's done. Every time I see him in the street, I'm going to like put a fucking Facebook Live on him and I'm going to go again. Right? He is done for the rest of his life. And that's fine by me, you know?
I have power.
No, I mean, this might be the thing that finally gets you a career. So, you know,
Inshallah.
I am.
are you guys best friends now?
Everybody.
Milo, we get it. You're gonna suck my dick later.
But when somebody,
All right. Everybody, fuck sakes.
too many
God, you're single.
Too many obvious things.
Nobody to cheat
Listen
on.
to me. Look at me. Don't listen to anybody else. Everybody be quiet.
I don't know what.
Where did you grow up? I don't even know the basic shit that I want to know. Where were you
I just
born?
appeared in a fabulous cloud. No, so I was born in Athens in Greece.
I'm in Greece.
And we moved quickly over to England.
Is
And
it
I
like a
grew up-
military family? Why you move so fast? Shipping? What are we talking?
Shipping, yes.
Shipping, all right.
Yes, so my dad was in shipping, and my mother
A
was
shipper
just
of
a
goods?
unemployed aristocrat. So my dad...
buddy,
Rich
Frank,
parents?
buddy.
Ah!
No, hold up.
Rich parents?
Hold up. My dad was rich but working class because
Okay.
he'd made his money his generation.
Right.
And my mother was very posh but very poor.
Okay.
So it was a kind of like funny dysfunctional partnership, which I think I embody quite well now. I'm definitely the product of both parents.
How many siblings?
None, which is probably obvious.
That's why.
Yeah.
You only
Jesus Christ, just
child.
looking to the basic
look,
shit.
I have half sisters and half brothers that I don't know that I
And
never
you remind
met.
them how half they are, don't you? nigga?
Oh hell yeah! No, I'm like
That's why he relates
so
to
you-
black people.
So you
Right.
only got one of the good
I got
parents.
plenty of those.
No,
Noam is canceled.
So my dad married a Jamaican lady, and they have like
Black?
Yes.
Jamaicans, black, yeah. So it made like 6 or 7. They have like 6 or 7 kids together. My mom.
You jealous of those kids?
What?
Them some good looking kids? The mixed ones?
I have been in so much
thank
trouble.
you. Thank you, Sherrod.
No. Listen,
I want to be in the sun. Then you can't be in the sun all day.
I have been in trouble for fake confected allegations of pedophilia, which I survived. It
wasn't fake.
Not sure we can get.
You're welcome. I defended
incest.
you.
Okay. Who fondled
Susan, pipe down.
Who fondled who?
What?
Who was fondling who?
What do you mean?
Incest?
No, I'm saying I don't want to.
He doesn't want to open the door to that.
I don't want to go ahead with your joke about how hot my half brothers and sisters, obviously, I'm sure are, because they're related to me,
right?
And that's weird.
So what? I humped a cousin, nigga.
No, you didn't.
Oh, I humped a cousin.
You humped a cousin?
Oh,
what kind of cousin?
A girl cousin.
I was rejected by
like
a cousin.
Proper cousin?
That's thousands of times worse.
Sherrod is my cousin, Milo.
What do you mean proper? She spoke English.
Cousin is all right. A cousin is allowed.
Wait. An actual cousin?
Just humping, right?
Yes.
Just humping?
When it's like 10, 11,
You had sex with an actual... No. That was prepubescent. That was prepubescent rubbing and whatever.
Yeah, rubbed everything now.
I am...
Joke's on you. Everyone came.
I am 33 years old. I do not get to talk like that about people I'm related to. And
Do you think that it's common in gay relationships for older men and younger men? No, that's what. But that's what this was all about.
I just want to get some answers out.
Do you think it's common? Do you think that's common for older men and underage men?
I do. Yes.
Do you think that's common?
What, older age and young? I think it's common.
Do you think guys that are adults?
Let me just. And what about your mother?
That was where all the controversy was about.
So he's asking me about his mother.
Your mother had more children after the breakup?
Read the Spectator article. It's called The Fall of Milo Yiannoupoulos.
He's only going to tweet for like 6 weeks if I don't answer the question, so I will. What I said was, it is a perfectly
I didn't ask what you said. I said, do you think it's common?
Tommy.
Want to be clear? Fine. Sorry.
Go ahead. You really stir up gays.
What I said, and what I believe, is that there is obviously a quite common thing that happens with younger gay men and older gay men. And some of those older gay men can sometimes help welcome.
Can you define younger, though? Just to be clear.
Like
this is a real question. I'm asking like a human.
You got to let him finish. Get to the end.
Define younger.
Okay, but you can't keep interrupting every time he's saying it, though. Right. He get to the end, then you say this. Define younger. Then he go on another thing. Then he say, that's called civility. No.
Obviously.
Define the younger.
I think it happens in obviously it's different for everybody. It happens in the teens.
Right,
Probably
the teens,
for me, maybe it happened a little earlier.
And plus, I would think like an older gay dude has some, teaching
has some
stuff.
pull, like has some attractiveness. Okay, so for me, it happened maybe in the younger teens.
Okay.
For other people, it might happen in the older teens. For some other people, it happens not until the 20s. There's obviously a dynamic, which I think everybody knows, even if they've only read like a little bit of gay literature or they've experienced a little bit of gay life.
No one knows about
There's
that.
obviously,
I know quite a lot about it.
Okay. There's obviously, like Christopher and his Kin and all that whole body of literature. There's obviously something useful or productive for younger gay men for forming these relationships with older gay men. And I don't mean 13 and 50.
Right.
I mean mid-teens and mid-20s, let's say.
Okay.
Right?
Can I answer him when he finishes? By
Yes.
Okay,
If you can calm Tommy down because he's raging.
Go ahead.
Noam is very upset. There's obviously something that the younger guys get out of it that they're not getting from home. For instance, somebody who tells them that their sexuality is okay.
Right.
That teaches them that it's not monstrous or obscene or whatever. Maybe even to the point of like sexual mechanics, like how this actually works. Like this is how we do this.
Can't put a dick in the air, silly.
Yeah,
it's ancient Roman,
and it's well, no, you're showing your ignorance again because of course.
No, but it is. It's Greek too.
In Sparta, which he's referring to, there was very rarely any.
I said it's Greek and Roman, bitch.
Penetrative sex.
Yeah, okay. But so I'm not showing my ignorance.
All right.
God, this is really painful.
It's still fun.
We all agree, Milo.
I'm in a lot of pain.
Yeah, we all are.
I'm chilling. Milo, can I ask you?
All everybody around the table is wishing is that the producers had stuck to what they promised.
Milo, can I ask you a question?
Can I
ask you a question about this? This is what I thought of during this.
Let me finish because I know that anything I say is going to be used by Susan to get more fame for himself. Or to try to achieve some. What's obviously true is that some younger men form attachments with some older men, and some of those relationships have a sexual component to them.
Okay.
Okay? And in some of those relationships where the young man feels like his parents wouldn't understand, that maybe their community wouldn't understand, they have found somebody who is able to welcome them into gay life, let's say, in a way that is non-judgmental, in a way that is nurturing and loving and all the rest of it.
Did you find that in your upbringing? Like when
Yes.
you're okay.
Yes.
And that shit
so
was,
the things that I
okay.
got misquoted on saying, I said one thing I didn't mean, and one thing that
Was
tumbled.
it nigga? You said an N-word?
What's that?
Was it the
What
N-word?
did you say that you didn't
No,
mean?
I say it all the time, but I say it in my house when I'm asked to, while
you're
he's
coming.
You have that right.
and only while he's in me. No, I think what got misquoted was I was talking about my own experiences, and I kind of like got off track a little bit, and I kind of something tumbled out of my mouth I didn't mean, which is
What
like,
did you say?
I think I said something along the lines of like relationships between older men and like, let's say for instance 13-year-olds can be perfectly consensual, and I don't think I would phrase it that way again if I had the choice twice.
I
you
would
know?
hope not.
Because I was kind of like whatever, but I was really the conversation before that I was talking about my experiences with a priest.
It was a priest
with an older man.
I went to Bishop Lachlan. I never got fondue, but I went to Catholic school here in New York City.
That means you're an ugly
So
kid.
Milo, I
No,
want
they
to ask
can't
you.
handle this dick, nigga.
They wasn't.
The
They
priest
knew
took one
better.
look at it. I was like, oh hell no. never mind.
So Milo,
I'll go with the Japanese kid.
please, let me in here for a
Let's
second.
enjoy a dick joke.
Let me in. So this is.
Not
That's
racist.
why I
Can you
wants to
just
come
let
in.
that hang in the air
I'm
for a
sorry.
second?
I'm sorry. So
We
this
lost
is
Susan.
what I thought.
Where's Susan?
He went to the bathroom.
This is what I thought about when this
You know,
controversy.
you notice that he left the moment I became real, reasonable, sincere. And,
went to masturbate.
And
He
all
went
that
to
stuff.
pee.
But you see, all the shit that he said that he wished that I would be on this show, the moment that I exhibited a lot of that, suddenly he fucks off.
You don't know that he didn't go to come.
I think he just had to
He
go.
might
Yeah,
be
of
coming
course.
right
He just
now.
desperately needed the bathroom. I'm sure that was it.
Okay,
No,
Milo, this is
get
what
it,
I
man.
thought
But what
about.
if he's having a crazy
Karen, come on
orgasm?
I think he's probably having a crazy
I'm
something,
out.
because I think
This
most
is-
moments
this
in
is
his
the
life
dumbest
are crazy.
podcast
and
No, for
something.
fuck's sake, I'm not the problem.
Everything's not your employees, Noam. Just wait your turn to talk like everybody else.
Good Lord, I haven't worked for you in 8 years.
I don't work for you, and whoever it is, what's his name? Calabasas? No, that's where Kanye lives. Calabria, whatever. You fucked me, so like I'm in charge
All right,
here.
now
All
go
right, can I
ahead.
ask you a question? This is what I
yes.
thought about while the controversy was happening to
Yes.
you. I wonder if you had the same thought.
Okay.
Yes.
You described being an underage and having a relationship with an older man. And I was thinking,
Yes.
well, if this had been a girl saying that, I think it's okay for an older man with a girl, and I learned about
Like
sexuality.
Lolita or Professional, the
people
movie.
they lambasted, they attacked you for what you were saying.
Well, I think
But
that-
but if you had been a girl, they would have said, "Oh, she
She's
was
the victim.
she was the victim. She
Yes!
was damaged.
Yes.
She was
I think that's-
damaged by this.
I think what
so
might-
we should
yes.
pity her. Instead,
Yeah.
they came at you.
I think that's true,
That's a
and
good
I think
fucking.
maybe
Come here, no.
That was a
You're
really
right
good-
to be talking, no.
Thank you for saying I should have been a victim, but I'm not a victim. And I think partly because my whole career has been based on like not making myself a very sympathetic character.
Yeah.
No, but
I
is it-
think
but
maybe
isn't
it
the
wasn't
criticism
easy for
hypocritical?
people to. Maybe it wasn't easy.
I don't think that criticism is hypocritical
That-
because they did it because of what he puts out.
But
Wouldn't
he was
you
still
agree?
a boy when
He's
it
a
happened.
boy
No, however,
they-
that doesn't
they
take
think
away.
That's fucked
from
up.
the-
They,
I didn't
if
say
you,
that.
Joyelle,
I
they
didn't say
believe
it.
he was
Listen,
molested.
but if
And
you think
normally,
Gay sex and straight sex aren't
But
the
if you
same.
normally-
though.
But if you have a heart
I'm
and a
not
soul,
defending
if you have a
that.
heart and a
Good
soul,
point.
you would say to yourself, maybe the reason he's decided to be this
Like this is
whatever,
because he
you
got
know?
molested as
I
a boy.
completely
And
know that
projecting.
that is the reason
Totally
he is
And I don't
projecting
think it is, but
But nobody would say that for a girl. If it was a girl, right away. No one
Right.
made a fucking great point.
But people do say that about
defending
boys.
Noam's point. I'm just saying the
okay,
possibility
but I don't
is
think
because of
but
the
I
energy
don't-
he puts into
I
the
don't think
universe.
it's a boy-girl thing, and I don't think it's a gay-straight thing. I think it is a right-left thing.
Yes, that's what I'm
think
saying.
it is.
Okay,
That's
get
what
it out.
It is a
I'm
right-left
saying.
thing.
Get it out.
It is
If I
because
had
you're on the
been-
right.
If I
Who
had,
was right to leave you?
you're right. If you've been a left-wing fag, they would have let you go with it.
if
That's what I
No,
I mean,
tell that to Kevin Spacey.
and it's not just,
Well, you
just.
can't just be
excuse me,
fucking-
excuse me. Kevin Spacey was a perpetrator,
That's a
and I
rapist,
was
yeah,
a victim.
yeah.
I'm
Get a
just
fucking
saying.
grip.
Yes,
Fair enough.
that
Tell
is
that to
fair.
fucking Bryan Singer. I don't what you want me to
Singer
tell you.
also a perpetrator.
Perpetrators. They the one who
I
did
hear
it
what
to
you're
the
saying.
boys.
No,
He was the
you don't
boys.
hear what I'm
Straight
saying.
sex are
Right on his
I was
different.
a 13-year-old child.
Sexy.
All right, so if
Name
you
your-
were traumatized, if you were traumatized by it, that's a
Name your
different story.
left-wing equivalent.
No.
Name your
Were
left-wing
you
equivalent.
traumatized by
Name
it?
your left-wing equivalent.
I'm not.
Name
Milo, I
your
don't give a shit.
left-wing
I'm not playing
equivalent.
punditry
No,
with you.
you
Maybe
said.
somebody-
My
what
question-
about Bryan Singer? What about Kevin
No,
Spacey?
all right,
you
maybe
literally
I
just
went
did
to
that.
pee, so I was out for
Name
5 fucking
your-
seconds.
Tommy.
Shut the fuck up,
Okay,
Milo.
Then let's move on from Susan. Thank you. The microphone's been taken away once again. So
You
you.
keep
Okay,
blowing
he's
your
lost-
top, though.
Okay,
Tommy.
so,
Tommy, I
so
love
lost
you.
again.
I think you're right.
Just
So
talk.
I think it's. I
No,
think
how
it's
is that not what I just
language.
said?
I think it's.
How is that not what I just
Maybe I
said?
didn't hear
Oh, it's
you.
infuriating that I'm right, that I point out what a
If that's what you
fucking
said, then I agree with you.
hypocritical, uni-celled, fucking brainless piece of shit you are.
fucking Dorothy.
Don't talk about Noam like
Oh,
that.
I must. Amount of fucking dick I've
Can I- Milo,
taken.
can I
How
say-
can you say I hate faggots?
Milo,
My God,
Milo,
bitch.
I gotta tell you something else. It's not
Dorothy
It's not
from the
Stephen
Golden
Calabria's
Girls
fault.
is pretty funny.
No, it's not his fault.
He
It's
didn't
someone
know.
else. Whatever. But
He didn't know.
But okay, listen.
Stephen Calabria?
I think it.
He didn't know that this
I
was
think
gonna
it was.
be-
I'm
No,
saying he
stop,
showed
Noam,
up now.
Stop making,
He showed
no,
up
I'm
now.
gonna take your mic off. Milo,
listen.
you tell this son of a bitch you having a good time.
I am having a lovely
He
time.
loves this. Don't try to act
Having
like
a
this is not
lovely
great.
time.
This is great.
He said Stephen Calabria.
However, I did say.
I think people misses
if
his
it's gonna-
sarcasm sometimes.
If it is going to be like a 7-on-1 situation, I'd rather be prepared.
I have your back. Did I not? I'm trying to make this an equal thing.
Because if there is one white boy who knows how to like have a train run, but you have to prepare.
I got you, but
You
I
have
want
to prepare.
everybody to get their points in, but I don't want it to be a
my
time.
ladies know if you're gonna have that much attention one night, you need to like
Lube it
show
up.
up prepared, right?
Yeah.
I never thought the black woman
I
would be the
said,
calmest here
if I
today.
am going to show up for race wars and have a train run on me, I
booked
want to
the
know
wrong
about
black
it
girl.
first because I want to come lubed and douche.
And ready?
And I was not lubed or douched.
And you're gonna lube your south and north mouth.
Yeah,
Both mouths.
all mouths perpetually lubricated, but not necessarily for Susan.
Don't let him get under your skin.
I have to go. I have another
Where you
I have
going?
another podcast at 8:30.
You ain't got nothing to do.
It's about the
you
Jewish
ain't
about
Anyway,
the Jewish question.
I agree, and the thing is, you would be right that it was hypocritical because I was right and not left, but I didn't even say what they said. I said,
What did they say you said?
They said that I defended relationships between older men and 13-year-old boys.
Right.
Clearly, I mean, maybe there
You
was
did a little. You did.
Maybe there was a sentence that tumbled out of
your
my
side
mouth
about
You
this,
did
Milo.
just
on
now.
like a 7-hour live stream where I said that, and but here's the thing: as soon as somebody surfaced it, I said I want to make myself completely clear. I don't know what I was doing on like a 4 a.m. drunken live stream, but here is my position. And by the way, as a journalist, as a reporter, I have exposed and imprisoned 4 pedophiles in my journalistic career.
Nosy.
Right? Yeah.
Quit bragging.
No, I mean like
Mind
I
your
should
business,
really
nigga.
stop poking my nose in other people's business. But
And I would have got away with it. It wasn't for you meddling kids.
right, I mean that's what they said. But no, I am somebody with a lot. I had written pieces about how I thought pedophilia was disturbing and disgusting, and the left was continually excusing it, which is not really an arguable proposition. The pedophile information exchange in the UK, for instance, had many prominent current Labour Party members as board members and all the rest of it. The left has always been trying to break down sexual barriers, and sometimes
England's even worse, by the way.
sometimes it's been doing it for good reasons, like breaking down the stigma around homosexuality, breaking down the stigma around whatever. But sometimes it's just been fucking sick. And what they did around pedophilia was sick. And I've written articles about that. I've also exposed multiple pedophiles in my career, you might say, perhaps, because of what I went through. And
Isn't pedophile prepubescent?
And then, yes.
It's Arrested Development.
And then the left has tried, and then the media tried to suggest that I was an apologist for something not only that I was a victim of, but also that I had worked for like 5 or 6 years to expose and to condemn. That's fucked up.
But the pedophilia, I think everybody. I don't think there's anything that can. I don't think there's anybody who's going to say anything for pedophilia. But sex between. Hold on. But sex between a 14-year-old.
Sheep. It's beneath you.
Sex
that was less than you.
Milo. Sex between a 14-year-old and a 25-year-old. That can be a lot more complicated to analyze.
So what I did say,
I agree.
what I did say, which I maintain is true. Listen, what I didn't say was sex between adults and 13-year-olds is fine. That's how it was reported. That's what I did not say. But there are certain unsayable truths that are more complex and as you suggest, subtle and sophisticated. And it's like, particularly in the gay world, there are there are relationships that might transgress strict legal boundaries that are nonetheless not especially damaging and might in fact be positive for both parties.
Better than the alternative of being of the gay experience.
Any gay man who has grown up with one of those older relationships will tell you the same thing.
I'm gonna fucking second the shit out of that. And straight people need to hear that. But that's why I defended you, Milo. That's true. It's very uncomfortable. But that's true. It is different. I'm agreeing with you.
And let him agree with you. You son of a bitch.
This would be a great way to end.
Agree with you. This is good for you. This is an opening for you. Like if you can agree I'm right about this, you can eventually agree I'm right about everything.
Calm down.
Zaddy. You heard him, Zaddy.
Come on, Susan. Tell him he's right.
Fine, you're right, Milo, about everything. I concede.
Here's the question I have. Do you think that like pedophilia to little boys might get pushed under the table more than when there's little girls involved in it?
Yes, and by the left. Because the industries in which it exists in like an industrial scale are industries which are entirely and completely run by the left. Hollywood, for instance.
Yeah, the right just tries to fucking eradicate gayness through...
Penn State was all Catholic, all old school, all conservative, all fucking boys.
Why do you think that the world stops turning? When you hear of like something that could conceivably be perceived as Republican or conservative.
That's binary thinking. That's not real.
And involves it's not binary.
It is. It's actually partisan thinking is binary. It's either or, left or right. That's binary definition.
Every time he say cheese, you can't say vegetables, nigga.
I am not Republican or Democrat. I'm just giving my opinion, and my opinion is the Republicans have been racist fucks in the past, and the Democrats have been useless, mental, also racist fucks in the past. My opinion is that...
So is my family. My family's been racist fucks in the past, but I still gotta love them.
I know plenty of racist black people. I know plenty of racist Hispanics.
My dad.
The racist Hispanics drive me to the airport, you know? Like, I know plenty... what I'm saying is, my opinion as a non-American, non-partisan observer...
Say that again, non-American.
Who is, like, reflexively probably... conservative in at least in economic things and social issues. I'm all over the place.
Okay.
My observation has been that those industries that are completely run, like fully paid up, like if you're a Republican, you get cast out. Those industries that are completely run by Democrats seem to have like a problem with like kitty fiddling, and I don't know why.
The Catholic
and I don't know
Church?
what it is.
No, that's
so the
Hollywood.
The Catholic Church.
Excuse me, the Catholic Church, and this is not going to be.
Hollywood. Though.
This is this is the most important argument. This is the most important thing that I will say this whole show that I want people to listen to.
Sherrod's hilarious. Can you at least mention that, nigga?
Sexy and beautiful and funny.
Yeah!
But that's not what I was going to say.
You're still going to apologize to Leslie Jones, nigga, before we really bond.
No, I'm not. The Catholic, what?
I'm going to rip that shirt.
You could try it.
Is everything a date to you?
He's not married.
Yes, everything is a date to me. Everything is a date to me. My husband would understand.
Yeah.
Not the sex.
You go to the same church, though. I know your husband.
Just the tearing.
He's
the most important thing you're going to say.
The
most important thing you're going to say.
All right, go ahead.
Is that all right? Thank you for the reminder.
He's such a club owner.
Yeah, no, he is. He's very focused.
Yeah.
He's very good. He's very focused.
I got you.
Well, I've kind of forgotten what I was going to say now.
The most important thing.
What was I going to say?
You want everybody to
remember.
Catholicism.
What were we talking about? Oh, yes.
Okay.
There's a thank you. There's a common misconception that Catholicism is associated with homophobia throughout history. Actually, the opposite is true in reality. If you look at Ireland, for instance, where being homosexual was punishable by castration or death, and you saw young girls who had children out of wedlock treated in the most disgusting and horrifying way, sometimes, admittedly, by the church itself.
Meanwhile, the English in charge of the Irish was fucking all the boys. But the Irish couldn't fuck the boys. All right, go ahead.
I haven't finished.
Sorry, I know the history.
Susan 2.0.
My bad. Yes!
Shut off
Brown
Sherrod's
Susan?
mic.
What actually happened in Ireland, just as happened in Italy, just as happened in a lot of very heavily Catholic. I don't need help. Catholic countries, including Africa, by the way, which is the
Colonization,
which is the continent where Catholicism is growing most quickly.
It was a good joke.
Come on, Milo.
Calm yourself
All right, go ahead,
down.
let me finish. If you're going to be my new co-host, you got to really behave. Go ahead.
I'm fine with it, but you can't afford me flying back up here every week. Now,
we can work it out.
If
Donnie got it.
Go ahead, Africa.
If I feel like we've run out of steam in the show, but I'm gonna get through it. I'm gonna say it. In Ireland, in Africa, in all the countries where rapidly growing Catholicism is a feature of public life, very frequently these occur in societies where homophobia pre-exists. Right? It exists way before the Catholic Church arrived, and in fact, in many cases, that's why the Catholic Church shows up because they know fertile environment. Yeah. However,
but that's not a conservative.
What the Catholic Church actually does is not discriminate, hate, punish, bully homosexuals. What it does is welcome them into the church and say, "Look, we don't
practice
love this, but we're going to give you a position that enables you to be a influential part of society, of your local community." The Catholic Church in Ireland for hundreds of years was a refuge for gay people. It wasn't it wasn't their terror. The terror was the state. It was the government.
That's why people be like this. You can't have a wife? What do you mean you got to be a brother or a pastor? You can't have a wife? They're like this. Yeah, I guess it's the church.
It was the
it's like, nah, it ain't the church.
Don't you find that Irish people are running away from the church now because of pedophilia?
And in almost every
I was in Ireland last summer, and all my Irish friends were running from the church. They're like our generation.
All knew whatever he was
How
saying.
How old are you, Milo?
You was going to say the
I'm
opposite.
35.
I gotta go.
I'm very shocked that you.
Milo, I want to ask you a question. Is there something deeper that's going on?
He said he was 33.
I've argued with Sherrod about this.
I am.
There we go.
That if I were a sadist, if I was to,
that's a F with
I would find it. I would find.
Given that I am a sadist,
I would find policemen an appealing career choice.
No. ICE is the sexiest branch of law enforcement.
If I was a pedophile. If I were a pedophile,
Immigration and Customs Enforcement.
Milo just jerked off. Just so everyone knows, he's jerking off still. He's making a jerk off motion while he talks about ICE. All right, for the deaf viewers at home.
If I were a pedophile, I'd probably be attracted to some profession where I could be around little kids. If I were homosexual at a time when you couldn't be homosexual, wouldn't I be attracted to the church because they put me around a lot of little boys?
No. I'm sorry, you said because I was homosexual, I'd want to be around little boys. Are you suggesting that?
No, I didn't mean little boys. A lot of. I'm a priest.
You see, this is the
problem. Because I said,
sometimes these little slips of the tongue speak volumes.
You know what, Milo? Now you shouldn't say that because you're a guy who's had those little slips of the tongue held against you many times. And I just finished a sentence about pedophilia.
Okay.
So I said little boys.
Okay, I accept that. I take it back.
The point is that if you're gay and you want to find some place where you can be just around a lot of dudes and you can have an excuse for not having to get married and all that stuff.
But that's my whole point. That's my whole point. If the church was homophobic, they wouldn't provide that space.
And that's a black church too. You want to see the gayest dude in the town? Go see the black church
choir.
Go
to the music ministry.
The gayest dude in town.
No, but did they provide the space, or did they say? Did people just come and pretend that they weren't gay anymore?
But aren't Catholics conservatives?
What the Catholic Church did was provide a space for people. Don't stop.
Tell her what you want. Amen.
There we go. We finished on a high note.
Of the show.
Catholic Church, refuge for gay people everywhere it exists. It sounds counterintuitive, but it's true. Like many things that are true in life, like many things that are sound crazy, but actually are reality. The Catholic Church, for all of its failings, and it may have many failings in the way that it has taken central doctrine and tried to act it out in the world, for all of its many failings, the Catholic Church has done far more good for gays than it has done.
But the Catholic Church is conservative, right?
Unarguable.
There's something else about just that I think is actually not fair. Going back to the little boy thing. A little boy thing meaning, like little prepubescent kids. No.
Yes.
But 100 years ago, the idea of being attracted to a 15-year-old or a 16-year-old, nobody blinked an eye. Elvis and I mean, this was so. Yeah. If you were gay, if you're gay in 100 years ago, and you want to be around 15, 16-year-old boys,
yes,
the church is a good place to go.
Oh,
right?
the Boy Scouts.
No. That's not really true. But the 2 points I would make is one, art has always been preoccupied with the underage, Lolita, and whatever else, and that is not restricted. To
art is not a fucking monolith.
I don't know if you're missing my point.
Art is not a monolith.
If I'm gay at a time when I'm not allowed to be gay, I'm desperate to find some place some decision I can make.
Yeah.
Where I can be around the object of my
It's
sexual desire.
a very clear point. Let's stop talking around it. Let's focus on the point. It's a very clear point.
I understand the point. There are much easier ways to find a boyfriend than spending 7 years in Catholic seminary.
Well, that's my question.
But it's some good butt in there, though.
Would you say
no, there is not. Trust me, because most people in there are there because they don't know
an unarmed black man and say you mistook his cell phone for a gun. But if you're a cop, it's a little bit better.
Were there easier ways?
It's the same point. It's the same point.
No.
He's saying
1 second. Were there easier ways if you were gay at a time when the state was punishing you?
In Ireland in 1800?
I remember.
No.
I mean, if
the church was your refuge.
Let me be completely clear. Let me be specific about what you're asking. There were easier ways to get laid. But was there an easier way to live as a gay man than the clergy? No.
Oh, so then I'm right.
No. It was what I'm saying is if you were solely motivated by your drive,
as we all are.
No, we're not. Animals are. Maybe you are, but I'm not.
I am shit.
Fine, but I'm motivated.
I'll fuck your shirt, nigga.
You're a little bit older now.
I'm gonna fuck that shirt.
When we're men in our early 20s,
what you do with leopards is up to you, but what you do with my shirt is up to me, and you ain't fucking my shirt.
Take that shirt from you.
No,
with no consent.
But
I like the way he's talking black to you.
I know it's just funny. I do it at home.
He goes to the women earlier.
I do it at home
when he goes to the NAACP.
I do it at home with my husband, and I'm doing it here to antagonize Susan.
I have to go.
So,
listen, it's the end of the show anyway, so let's do plugs.
I think Milo. I don't know what you took my politics for, but I've always thought.
No, I wasn't.
I think you've gotten a bad rap.
I didn't take them for anything.
I want
to tell you, I think you've gotten basically a bad rap. Sometimes I wish you would just show some sign that you're not indifferent to the fact that somebody feels hurt. I think that would suit you well.
One of the reasons I wanted to do this
most of the things they say that you
One of the reasons I wanted to do this show, and one of the motivations for me coming on here was to do precisely that, because I agree with you. Unfortunately, it was derailed by Susan. But one of the
it was not derailed. You know he made it better. You needed antagonist.
No, excuse me.
You needed it. I needed that.
One of the things that happens, Noam, when you're an abused person, you become an abuser. You project. Sometimes it's internal. Sometimes it's to others.
No, listen.
But you can grow out of that, and maybe that's where he's at.
I have experienced enough stupid leftist antagonists. Like he is indistinguishable from somebody.
What the fuck do you know about my politics? Calling me a leftist. The fuck this guy knows
somebody
about my
yelling
politics.
at me in the street. Okay.
No plugs tonight.
He is indistinguishable from some idiot yelling at me in the street.
Start plugging.
I own a restaurant.
One of the reasons I agreed to do the show.
You invite him down?
Was because he's a friend of Anne's, so I thought, okay, maybe he's not like wild. And then I listened to some of your stuff, and obviously I'd seen some of it, but I listened to some of your stuff, and I was like, okay, he's cool. I like him. And I thought that we would get the opportunity to do that. Unfortunately, it was derailed by a bad guest choice. No, you know what? It was bad. It was good for you. It wasn't good for me.
You gotta go.
Like, this is whatever. But
I would love to have you come to the Olive Tree or the Comedy Cellar, and as long as nobody complains, you're very welcome to stay there.
Wow.
All right, I've had fun. Thank you so much.
Let's do a plug. What do you want to plug? You want to plug something? What's going on?
No, I'm fine. I have plenty of money. I'm good.
Well, I don't. Can I plug some stuff?
I would like to hand my plug over to these ladies so they can get half my time each. No, they get half my time each. What do they want to do?
CoachVaughn.com. I'm going to be in Fairfield, Connecticut, June 2nd. Promo code Vaughn for discounts on your tickets. I'm going to be in Chicago next week, filming for the new season of Laugh Tracks. Come out and see me in Chicago at the Promontory Theater in Chicago. Where else am I at?
Joyelle, come on.
New York Comedy Club on the 25th.
Nobody cares, Vaughn. Don't forget, Surrounded.
I have a plug.
June 19th, Comedy Cellar, 8 p.m. All female comedians, women, they're not dogs, and Sherrod.